We're about to bring everyone down into stream chat and we will begin the show. Hello guys, welcome. Let me bring this over.
Is it time?
It is time. It's showtime. And I just have the Running Man music going. Sorry about the wait. I had a little bit of issue with the computer before, so we didn't get that videos to go as quickly, so we could have started bang on 9, but it was worth the wait. Those two videos are just amazing. Try Eyes video there from Dark Matter. It's just, if that doesn't get you excited about StarCitizen and about what potentially we're going to get, nothing will get you excited about StarCitizen. It's so good. The two videos are just amazing, and I had to put them on to promote them because they're amazing. I think I have the links.
Good stuff.
I think I have the links on my thing. So if people want to, they can grab them. I think I've got the Try one. I'm not sure actually where the other one is. I'll have to try and dig out the other one. The other one's pretty good. It's like Robin Hood. The guy was like trying to get Robin Hood music.
Madness.
Yo.
I think we've lost Noodle. I think we've lost the Noodle.
He's muted.
He's something.
Oh, there he is.
There you go.
Hello, Moist. Sorry, buddy. Oh, what? Why are you muted? Hang on.
Does he have a server mute in Discord?
You are Moist. Sorry, buddy. Speak to me.
Don't worry about it.
No. What you don't understand, what the viewers don't understand, MoistNoodle is under so many NDAs, he can't even talk on the podcast anymore.
That's pretty much
literally
it.
Cannot talk about anything.
That's it. What it is. I should have had the NDA sign come up right next to you.
I'm not going to have to use push to talk all the way through this friggin' podcast. Really?
Is that what it's on?
Yep.
Dude.
God damn it.
Oh my God.
This podcast is so unprofessional. I'm never coming back here again.
How do I switch that off?
There should be a permissions, I think.
Hang on. You what?
No, Christian. Go away.
Can almost hear Moist.
It's okay. I like it in Christian.
How about now? Try that.
Oh, hang on. Let me try it. Oh, no. I need to actually switch it over. Hang on.
Try that now. No. Yay, there we go. For some reason,
We're trying. Hashtag professional streamers. Not like we had the same sort of problems on the
never had to do that.
Table.
Never had to do that before. Like, that's literally must be a Windows update thing. We blame everything on Windows. It's always Windows' fault. Whatever happens, even if
updates.
There's never been a Windows update. It is, yeah, but but Moist, to be fair, you can't really say much, can you? Because you've got under 3 NDAs at the moment. Is that what it is?
Yes. No, I can't even.
He can't even tell us how many NDAs he's got. I can't say anything. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. So, welcome everyone to the Asylum, episode 32. With me, tonight, as always, I have HC Vertigo, and I also have with us MoistNoodle. So, I think anyone who's been in the StarCitizen world knows who you are. So these guys are StarCitizen streamers and variety-ish streamers as well, would you say, nowadays? Because lack of content really has kind of driven a lot of streamers to have to do other things.
It's the usual content drought in between large content updates for StarCitizen. So you end up, just for your sake of your sanity, you have to find something to do besides StarCitizen.
It's great though, because it means I get to fly internet helicopters while drunk, which is just the best thing in the world.
I have been popping in to watch this. It's helicopter VR
something
stream.
Something they'll never let you do in the military.
Are you sure?
Not
well. Some of the people I know. I should probably retract that.
Yeah, in the private industry, it's absolutely expected of the pilots to be absolutely smashed. That's the way I've always looked at it. The pilots have to be completely drunk. It doesn't make it fun otherwise. I've seen those pilots on the. I've seen those pilots on the. Oh, seriously, he's too quiet. Turn up Noodle. Is he? Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I've just turned up my gain a little bit. I don't know if that'll help. I'm sorry, Christian.
How loud now?
I'm a little. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello.
Keep talking.
1, 2, 3. 4. Mary had a little lamb.
You are very quiet. Actually.
Is that good?
Huh?
Can you 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3,
You are
1, 2,
very
3.
quiet. Because I'm watching the red bars.
Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Hello.
How's that, guys?
Hello.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up. You're better.
Oh, that'll do then.
Okay. Start again. Welcome to 13. No, that's fine. So yes, don't worry, I'll be clipping all this. It'll be perfect. No one will know. Full editing.
It would be perfect.
will
Just
go in.
for the YouTube video.
YouTube videos,
Perfect.
like we won't complain about that. It's fine. We know what we're doing. It will be fine.
YouTube gets all the good content, all the perfect content. They don't get to see the mistakes.
Flawless. No, so you've been doing. So I'll start with Moist, and then we'll go HC. So Moist, you've been playing this helicopter.
Helicopter.
I've been flying helicopters.
I'm only drinking this stuff. It's not even strong. There's not any alcohol in it at all. So you've been flying helicopters, I've noticed, with your VR.
Yeah, I've been playing a few different games, but essentially I keep going back to DCS World, which is Digital Combat Simulator. So it's not just helicopters. There's a whole load of different...
Oh, is there more than helicopters?
Yeah. It started off as a plane combat sim. But they've got 4 helicopters on there now. It's just helicopters is where my sort of simulator interest lies. But I really enjoy it. I fly the UH-1H-1S, the Huey. I'm so crap with the model names. But yeah, I'm all right when I'm sober. And you've watched a few times, right?
I have. I enjoy coming in because I get to spam you with loads of music, as I always like to
the
throw
music
lots of music at you.
ace.
I do enjoy. I mean, I enjoy it. I know, like, there's a whole thing with like Twitch at the moment with music and all this kind of like copyrights and all this sort of things. But I just like it. Just sucks if you don't have music, the right music for the experience, right?
If they ban me, what are they gonna do? Like, I'll just create another account, I'll start again, and I'll change my hair color to red. They won't know it's me. Hello, I'm Crispy Noodle.
Crispy Noodle.
Crispy Noodle. Banned Noodle.
Yep.
Bless. No, but they won't. They only care. I don't even know. I don't know. I still don't really know the full ins and outs of that stuff.
I think it's a fairly automated system. I think Twitch's bot is able to list what tracks have been played most likely, and then
mutes it, doesn't it? I thought that's the way I've always looked at it. Kind of gets. I've always the videos get muted. You know, it's like the way I've always looked at it. It gets muted. So, and I'm like, I'd rather have the fun of the moment and enjoy the stream with the music and everything. Especially like when you're flying a helicopter.
The thing that really frustrates me about the whole situation is, as many people know, I come from a radio background, and when it comes to broadcasting any radio station that you have on the internet, you essentially need, in the UK, a PRS and a PPL license. Those are 2 licenses. The one pays the artist, the other pays the writer of the song. And I don't understand. It's really easy to purchase these licenses on the internet, and then once every quarter you just provide them with listener figures. And I don't understand why Twitch don't just go, oh, maybe we should just allow you to purchase these licenses through Twitch. Or just allow us to provide the licenses that we have paid for. Like, you just upload them somewhere on the Twitch website.
I know, right? Like,
then,
why don't you work with the music industry here for
exactly.
worldwide distribution?
Help them make money rather than like screw us.
They can advertise their music on your channels and stuff. So they make.
Exactly.
It's all just. That's the thing. It's like, isn't it? It's like this is a modern day thing. And it's like, it seems like it's behaving like an old granddad company that would be like, no, we can't.
Do you know where I discover most music now? Through Twitch. Like going into other people's streams and watching other people's streams, or people coming into my channel and requesting music on my channel.
Listen, I still get most of mine through YouTube, from just scouring YouTube, and I get mine from going into Starbucks coffee places and stuff, and just hanging out in. No, actually, not just Starbucks. No, it's not Starbucks. Sorry.
Are you a 15-year-old madness? What are you doing? What are you doing in Starbucks?
No, it's not. It's not Starbucks. What's the other one?
Excellent choice, by the way.
No, Wagamama's. Wagamama's.
They started out. They started out around here. They're a nice little local company.
Small little thing.
For those of you who don't know, Starbucks started out in Seattle, by the way. Like, the very first Starbucks store is not too far away from where I sit.
Damn you. And they dominate the... Oh no, Carl's is here to make sure I don't say anything untoward. Just the one glass, Carl's.
Anyways, Madness, are you still talking?
Making you bigger. Hang on.
Madness?
Making you bigger.
Oh, he was making you bigger. I've never had that problem, have I, HC Vertigo?
Madness can always make me bigger. He's got the touch. What can I say? He's got the power.
Wow.
When all hell's breaking loose.
Welcome to the Rainbow
Eye
podcast.
of the storm.
Right, we do have some stuff to talk about. So I have a few things that we picked out from the roadmap from StarCitizen. We have a bit of stuff from Reddit. There's been a little bit of information. ATV was very short. Feel free, by the way, guys, we have obviously got questions. So if you want to pose a question to us early on, if there's something desperately burning within you want to talk about, please chuck it in there. I'll look at it. I have the document open so I can check it and see, and we'll go through the questions as we go along through the show. So there's not like a kind of last end thing, because I know people sometimes can only stay for an hour, so we try and go through questions as we go along as well. It keeps us conversations going. So we'll go through the roadmap as always. So I've got a different roadmap here, and one of the kind of the things that was quite interesting is that I've seen roadmap? It is the right roadmap. It is the right roadmap. Okay. But it's come from a very reliable polar bear.
Oh.
So I trust this polar bear more than any other polar bear out there. A certain Toby. So when he gives me information, it's usually pretty accurate. So I think this is actually even his own personal one. I'm not sure. I think this is actually Toby's actual. He's broken it down in terms of stuff. But the most exciting thing that we all know is net binding is in polishing. Net coal binding. The bar bind culling. Sorry, network binding or bind culling or whatever. Bind culling or whatever.
My understanding was that was almost already to be implemented for 3.2. But the problem was they had hitching all over the place. They needed OCS for it. That was their excuse, reason why I didn't make it in. Yeah. It was stuttery and all that craziness.
So do you think that's just always been ready, and they've just been doing a few little tweaks here and there, and then just been waiting literally just for object container streaming?
They probably got bored and started all over again.
Maybe. This is true.
I'm pretty sure that. I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to OCS. I'm looking forward to bind culling. Definitely help with I don't think it's going to help much with my computer, but I suspect people who have potato computers, the 16 gigabytes or less, as we were talking about before the podcast, the older computers are older for a reason.
Yeah, my one's showing its age at the moment. Yeah, my streaming PC.
So for the people who don't have the highest end hardware, we'll probably see the most gains out of this sort of technology.
I hope so. I do hope so. But I think we all will. Sorry, go for it, man.
What are you guys most looking forward to out of 3.3? Like, what one thing on the roadmap?
It's not on the roadmap, but I can tell you, it actually encompasses 3 separate things. I'm looking for ship purchasing.
Yeah.
And because Chris Roberts says we have to have Astro Armada in order to purchase ships, which means we have to have Hurston, which means we have to have Lorville, which means we have to have OCS. So therefore, I get OCS, Hurston, Lorville, and ship purchasing with just that one request. Thanks, Chris Roberts.
It's a good request to have, and I'm with you on that one. That's pretty much kind of the similar sort of thing that I really want is I want the ships in game because I want players, new backers now, to be able to come in. We're 5 years or 5-6 years down the line now in terms of development. I want them to come in and be able to get some ships and be able to really enjoy what's coming this year or next year, end of this year and the beginning of next year. You know,
the only thing I'm really interested in 3.3 is the transit system. Because it is the precursor to us getting Space Train Simulator. Really nice to see they actually did some work on that this week, though. It's actually moved forward.
I'm looking forward to the elevators breaking loose from their shafts and getting into orbit and stranding me.
You've been reading Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You want a glass elevator that disappears at the top.
Wonka-vator.
Woo!
The Wonka-vator. That's what it was. That's exactly what I want. I just want the elevator to pop out like a piece of toast and just go for orbit. Why not? Knock an Atrix out of the sky.
FPS for the love. Fair enough.
The railgun and just start shooting people down as you go up in space.
Can you think you could get us the Wonka elevator, Christian? I think that's what we really want. Just make that happen, you know? Just like an elevator.
Chris has been working on it. I think we'll end up with it whether we like it or not.
People will do it. They'll break it out of its confinements, and it'll become the Wonka elevator, just going everywhere, traveling through space like the TARDIS. You'll see someone's elevator just going past them, like, oh my god!
MoistNoodle, you bring up like a quote from Jurassic Park. What's his name? It was what was the name who said that? Nature finds a way. I just imagine that the elevator's just breaking loose.
It's true.
Good old Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, thank you for that.
Yeah, no, he classic line from a great movie.
But now we're talking about Jurassic Park, you know, because this is a StarCitizen podcast. Let's talk about Jurassic Park, right? A little bit of madness. If you could be any dinosaur, what dinosaur would you be?
It's a good question, actually. Probably the obvious choice would be a raptor, right? I kind of like the raptors.
Oh, yeah, actually, I could see you as a raptor.
I kind of like a raptor, if I'm honest. So, yeah, probably a raptor.
Vertigo. What dinosaur?
I know. I like the idea of just being like a brachiosaurus or something and just whip people with my tail.
Yeah, that's exactly what. I'm 6'3", so I feel like that's, and I'm very fat and slow, so I suspect that's my only choice.
It's a fairly noodly. It's a fairly noodly
long
dinosaur. Long neck, long tail, big
stubby
body,
feet, leg things. Have you seen the latest Jurassic Park movie, by the way?
No.
Oh,
I lost interest after.
My son loves it because it's just full of dinosaurs, so he just loves it. It's like brilliant.
That scene. Oh my god! Sorry, I need to stop for a second. That scene with Brontosaurus on the dock. Oh my god! I was in tears. I never, whatever it's called, I never thought I'd cry over a Jurassic Park movie. Sorry, let's continue. Let's go back to Star
My little boy. Do you know what?
Dinosaurs though in StarCitizen soon.
Got me. Do you know what got me what got me a little bit emotional was my little boy went up to the screen. He's only 3 years old, and he was like, you can see like the heartbreak of the like. They're not going back for the bracket. You know, he's like really distraught. He was distraught about the dinosaur dying because he was like, there's like the reality of like, oh, like this little boy just realizing. I was like, it's okay. You know when you kind of want to take him away, and I was like, no, he must see this. This is important. This is what happened to the dinosaurs. This is educational. He must understand that things died.
They all burned.
They all died. So you know, it was garbage. The thing that actually is quite interesting on the roadmap as well, bringing it back to StarCitizen because that's what we do, was the improved manned remote turrets on vehicles.
I still have no hope.
Which was very interesting.
How many times have they worked on turrets? Like, I'm just expecting them to work on turrets for every patch now, and eventually they'll just start working.
Okay, so what it brings me to, because we're going to show you this video. So this is something I found on ATV, because I always like to scour. I always scour the world of StarCitizen to find stuff, and this is a foreigner, this German streamer. And these guys were in rovers on the planet, and in comes the old Raven, and EMP'd the shit out of them. And then what was pretty cool is he kind of comes back, and they get into like you'll see it in a second, which is kind of exciting because I was like watching this going, I mean, I didn't have a clue what they were saying, but I could figure it out. Shoot them! That was pretty much I could kind of figure it out. And then next thing you knew is they had this amazing little kind of like scene where in the nighttime where you had the gun kind of firing up, and you know it looked fantastic. The only problem is they did shit damage to the spaceships, and ended up ultimately getting trashed.
We are getting the anti-aircraft variant of the Cyclone in 3.3, right?
Yeah, and I think it's got like 2 missiles. So good luck.
So it's not going to be that effective.
Size isn't it size 1 missiles as well? Isn't that what I was under the impression?
Was like 2 size 2s.
Was it 2 size 2s? It ain't big. I know that much. They're tiny, and they will literally just ping the shields, and that's it. It would just be like you just wiped them out. It just wiped them out. Absolutely. I think it was 2 ships in the end that ended up kind of wiping them out. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like I said, visually, it looked amazing. It looked absolutely tremendous. Yeah. They looked like they were having a fantastic time. I think they did have a great time, but they did get wiped out pretty quickly.
In terms of anti-aircraft, and this actually takes me back to DCS, I'd really like to see an anti-aircraft gun on vehicles rather than just missiles. because there is nothing more frigging terrifying as like if you're just flying along, and this happens to me on DCS all the time, and then I just get hit by a missile in my helicopter, like my tail just falls off and then I fall to the ground. It's like, oh no. But if you're flying along and then all of a sudden the entire sky just lights up with anti-aircraft fire, it's the most terrifying thing in the world. Your butt just clenches and you just hold on for dear life. And it's quite scary, and that's the kind of experience that I would like in StarCitizen.
This goes back around to the kind of deficiency of the size 1, size 2 missiles and some of the weapons discrepancies. We really need to kind of see some more. Really, I'm not ready to throw out the baby with the bathwater just yet, because we really need to see the damage states with the components. Because right now your ship has hit points, and when those hit points reach 0, your ship just blows up. So size 2 weapons and size 1 weapons right now are just kind of garbage compared to size 3 weapons, just damage wise. And we have desync and the shields. Yeah,
there's all sorts of balancing problems. Yeah, I mean they were better before. In the previous before 3.0 came out, there was a bit more balance. You could do a bit more damage with your size 2 weapons. There was a few more size 2s, like mass drivers, for example, that actually did some serious damage to ships. But they don't do nothing now. And yeah, it's a frustration. But in terms of the vehicles that we have. So we've got a rover that obviously has the automatic turret thingy, whatever, on top with size 1s, right? But you're going to have the
size 2s. I can look it up.
Okay, then we've got the Tumbrel coming in, and then one variation is going to have an EMP, one variation is going to have rockets, another variation is going to be like a Warthog from with a machine gun on top, with the machine guns on top. Then we'll have the racer, and then we'll have just the standard. Cargo one, is that right? Is there a cargo one as well?
I think so, yeah.
We already have the cargo one.
We've got the cargo one now. Yeah, there you go. So there's the cargo one now.
The base model.
Yeah. Could we actually put anything in the cargo one yet? I've never tried.
No, you can't. It's basically
you can. It doesn't stay there though.
It doesn't stay there. Okay.
Well, yeah, you can. It's designed to hold the full SCU box, one full size SCU. So you can't manhandle that around just yet. But it has a little ramp. You can activate inner thought and look to your lower right, and you can actually open the ramp. It has an animation for the ramp. It pops out and everything.
Yeah,
but cool. You can't do it.
But you can't.
Looks like that ramp. Whenever I see that ramp come down, I just think, oh shit, I need to get my mobility scooter and just drive it into the back.
Oh, I was wrong. The Ursa has 2 size 1s. Yeah, it's got bulldogs.
Yeah, it does. It's
so
garbage.
Yeah, there's
garbage. Literally garbage. No, and I'm pretty sure it's either size 1 or size 2 missiles as well on the Tumbrel variant. I don't know if anyone knows for sure in chat, but it's pretty trash as well. It's going to do, I think it's going to do nothing.
Something to bear in mind is that we're going to have, and it's coming with 3.3, we're going to end up with no fly zones. So you're going to be in these areas in your ground vehicles, and you're not necessarily going to have to worry about being attacked by aircraft. Only by other vehicles, at which point, when the weapons feel quite weak now, when you're only up against other ground vehicles, they won't feel quite so weak, because it's a bit more of a fair fight, So.
Good point. Yeah, definitely. So definitely.
And I looked it up. The AA variant has the EMP.
Mm.
And,
which is the EMP? EMP is going to be. I think that's where that. I'll be interested to see how that works and how quickly the recharge is on that.
That'd be amazing. Can you imagine that Raven coming down? You hit your EMP first, you just slams into the ground.
Just watch this EMP cancel each other out. Just see them cancelling each other out. That would be hilarious to watch. But
and it looks like it has 2 size 1s and 2 size 2s, which is weird. I don't think that's right, unless the task force is a size 2. Nope, this task force is a size 2, and according to the stats for it, has 2 task force EM and 2 marksman IR. And the marksman, the bearing marksman, is a size 1, unless they're going to change something.
Is that missiles? Is that size 1 missiles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Size 1s and size 2.
Size 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got 2 size 2s and 2 size 1s.
I have the anti-aircraft variant of the Cyclone, and it's just going to be so disappointing to see my missiles go flying at the thing, and then my missiles just go.
Well, do you know what's be worse is literally you'll see it go at the target, it'll just go. And that's it. That's your anti-aircraft weapon. You know. That's why I was like, when I saw it, I was like, why isn't it got size 3s on this or size 4? Like one massive freaking. Maybe they need a bigger truck. You know, a huge, great big one of these kind of Kim Long Jing kind of massive carrier Russian things.
What? I'm sorry. What?
I had to say that without offending anyone, but I just, you know what I'm saying.
You're talking. Well, yeah. There was the IG. Oh fuck! I can't remember what the size. Like the actual anti-air missiles designed to engage real-life aircraft, like supersonic jets and whatnot. They're bigger than your house. They're these massive, you know, like 20-meter long missile tubes, and they have 2 of them on the back of this fuck off lorry, and they just.
You know what's even better? The automated anti-missile systems that they put on ships these days is like they're completely automatic, and when those things go, they're terrifying, but they look awesome at night.
Oh my
close-in weapon system. Yeah, CIWS. They put those on the ships. They're designed to shoot down anti-ship missiles.
Yeah, that's the future, Chris. Right there. That's the future, right there. No, I think they're going to do something like that. I mean, they showed us that stuff before ages ago on ATV, where they showed us the automatic tracking kind of like missiles. They showed us all this stuff last year. I was looking at some old ATV videos, and there was tons. I looked at a few the other day. Because I was looking for content, and I was going through it, and I actually I dug out one to compare, because I wanted to compare the ATVs, because we have been robbed recently. I think the best amount of time for an ATV is 30 minutes, and we get a good chunk of a studio report. You know what I mean? That's always been the best. We're not getting it because of Citizencon. I get that. I understand it. So, you know, we have to be a bit of a drought. But I have to say, it's been a drought pretty much way before even Citizencon, though. It's kind of really curbed.
They started pulling back around 3.0.
A lot of stuff.
Whereas I found myself...
It was better last year.
I found myself getting... a little bit burned out much sooner with this patch, which is crazy to think because we have more content now than ever. But I just don't think it's enough content to keep myself going. I need that end game. The end game being there, it's just like there's no point.
You can have goals. Right now, Star Citizen is just a fuck around simulator. You just go in there, you fuck around for a little bit. You find ways to break your animations, so you turn into like a little crap man, and then you jump onto someone's dashboard and you try to scare them by crotch thrusting.
Okay. Okay. Positive. Because we don't want to get too into. Let's get into
right,
next.
We're
going.
I was promised this wasn't going to be a salty.
It's not. It's not a salty one. That's what I'm just saying. There's a few little things we're all aware of. It's not, when we get too bogged down in the same things, I'm just going to bring us back up out of this because we don't need to be here. The next thing we've got was quite cool is obviously they're in polishing. They've been in polishing for a while for retrieval and delivery missions, which is great. So they're improving on those stuff. So hopefully we'll get that stuff on the Tumbrel. We'll be able to do things, and there'll be some more things, which is exciting. There are improvements on obviously the mining stuff we know about, so that's good. And then what was good is the FPS combat missions is getting that much closer to being done. It's at 23 of 28, I think it is. It might be more than that now, which is great because like we all want a little bit of FPS combat. Actually, just going back briefly to the vehicles, that's one of the things I really want them to implement. When you see the guys playing COD recently, they got their friends in the car like PUBG, their mates are leaning out shooting at things, and I really want them to get that into CIG, get that into the game as quickly as possible. I don't know why they've taken so long to do that, because we can do it in ships. I don't get it.
You can't really do it in ships yet, but you can see the start of it. Again, yeah, you can't. You can see the start of it with the animations I'm messing around with, but they said they wanted to be able to get your upper torso to behave differently from your lower torso, so you can do emotes within the seat. So you can do other things while you're sitting down in a seat, no matter what. But they're still working on that system, from my understanding. It's been a long while since I've said they were working on it, but they're still working on it apparently. Yeah,
it would add a lot, I think, to ground, to being on ground, especially if you're bringing in FPS combat on the ground. I think it would really, and they're talking about these races as well,
even not being able to do it ourselves, but having the AI do it to us. Like an AI rolls in with a cyclone, and they have some dude in the rumble seat shooting at you, and you got a guy in the turret, and you shoot at the driver, and you watch the whole thing crash. You got a triple kill. Amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. Exactly. kill him. You get the next thing that's really good is so they've improved. They've said they're in polishing now for improved flight AI.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just generally looking forward to AI. Just sorry, I was messing around with my OBS. Just
Sorry.
go back to the FPS AI thing. I've played a lot of Elite Dangerous. I've got like almost 700 hours in Elite Dangerous. Sorry, that's
I don't know how you
Elite
do it.
Dangerous conversation. You don't, right? Your brain disconnects and floats away, and you just play it on automatic. That was pretty much all trading. But the thing that I'm really looking forward to with StarCitizen compared to that, when you go down to moons, planets, whatever, and you do a mission, you're just flying around, you're shooting some shit, and then you leave. Whereas with StarCitizen, I just cannot wait to land, get out of my ship, and then have to find a good way to get into a building, or I have to be quite tactical about how I approach the building because there's literal guys on foot guarding the building.
And if you die, we talked about this today. If you die, the distance from the point from where you left your ship is going to be kind of the penalty. Like you're going to respawn back at Olisar, but you may have to travel all the way back to Delamar because that's where your mission was, and your ship's back there still.
Yeah, and generally having better AI for flight combat, because right now it just feels so weird fighting NPCs because they're so floaty. And they seem to go as quick sideways and backways as they do forward because they're just so good without, what's it called? Thing you lock on. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to fun.
Yeah, me
when it
too.
comes to fighting.
Be nice to be able to fight in Vandal Swarm or Pirate Swarm.
We'll talk about it later in ATV, but we'll just bring it up. The great thing is the search behavior. Very cool. Great thing to have. Great thing to have. That is dope. I mean, to be hunted, that just adds, for me, just a great element of challenge. From some people, they hate that. You know, we were on the captain's table, HC and I and myself, and it was interesting. He had Stoutman on, who obviously he wants more of a, shall we say, don't want to be attacked by anybody, don't want to be just want to enjoy the universe and the game without anybody interfering with me whatsoever.
This is the thing.
I'm not sure he's going to get that.
Everyone has to bear in mind that the AI isn't necessarily just being developed for StarCitizen. The AI is also being developed for Squadron 42. And when you're playing a single-player game, the AI actually has to be interesting. Otherwise, suddenly that single-player game, like when you've worked out like how the paths that AI will follow and how they will react in certain situations, it suddenly gets boring. Whereas if you're attacking an AI and they react in a way that you're not necessarily expecting, then, to me, that's just more enjoyable and makes the game not necessarily more difficult, but more challenging, if that makes sense.
No, definitely.
Right,
not,
and there's in Squadron 42, you can I suppose Chris Robles will give you the option to turn the difficulty down, but in Star Citizen, it's like how do you make AI that can interdict you like easy or more difficult depending on the player. You'd have to look at the player's history and how they perform under combat, and you'd have to kind of build the instance for that player. But I suspect Chris Roberts may just, because I've played Chris Roberts games in the past, he doesn't care about just smashing you into a difficult situation and then let you fail over and over and over again until you reload to save like several hours ago and just take a different path to make it easier on yourself. But always doing the sliding difficulty.
That was a different time.
I know, it was madness.
It was a harder time when people were used to hard games and dying and learning.
That is an interesting point, though. But something that they have mentioned, or Chris has mentioned in the past, actually, I don't think it was Chris. I think it was another. I can't remember. It's just vaguely in the back of my head. Is the Nemesis system, and the Nemesis system is really interesting because for those who don't know what the Nemesis system is, a great example is Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, where when you defeat certain captains or bosses, you won't necessarily kill them straight away. They might manage to escape, and then they will learn a little bit about you and then come back later on and they might be a little bit more difficult. Well, if Star Citizen does use a system like the Nemesis system, then it kind of tailors the AI to you as an individual and your specific skill set, because the AI will be learning about you.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if they actually implement a system like that, I think.
And I don't know how, and this comes back around to the Stoutman comment. I mean, we could have gone deeper into that, but I felt like we were kind of going into a very standoffish area on the captain's table.
Yeah,
I don't know how passive. I don't know how passive the AI is going to be for certain people. Even flying through high security space, you may end up rolling across some pirates that kick your butt.
Yeah,
that kind of idea.
You're not going to get away from combat, are you? I mean, I just don't think you might get away from like the idea. I think he was more talking, judging on what I was saying, he was talking about griefing and people that were just literally out there to blow you up for the sake of it. But I think you make a completely valid point. Is the reality is the AI's entire programming is like a Terminator. It's literally wants to kill you. You know, I just feel like
to give you the challenge of playing the game. It's the resistance, the obstacle to overcome, that kind of moving, flexible obstacle, the quagmire you have to work against.
It is quite literally. It has no emotion. It has no feeling. It won't stop ever. You know, is literally that quote. It's like
I'm sure there'll be a way to ask for mercy for the computer. It's like, okay, I've had enough today. Can I just give you a portion of my cargo just to fuck off for a few hours?
Your future on Star Citizen is just putting your hands in the air saying, I give up. Fine. I'll work for you. I'll work on your hammerhead. I'll mop the floors. I promise. Just let me play Star Citizen AI. And that's it. You spend your Star Citizen career just mopping floors for an AI.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Player slavery. I would love it. I fucking love it.
I would do it. Step to us submitting to our robot overlords.
If they made
here, thanks, Chris Roberts. It's the fucking Matrix. They turn you into a fucking battery. If they made it fun and not just fun, like fun to the point where it has many different angles it can take. Do you know what I mean? Being captured and doing all that sort of thing. Then it's interesting. But if it's always this like 2 or 3 paths you always go down, get bored really quickly. You just be like, fuck it, I'll die and respawn my character or something. You know, you won't. But if they make it so that it's genuinely like you just don't know where it's going to go, and there's many different true AI subsumption with just like thousands of potential possibilities and outcomes, you know, or maybe not thousands, but like a couple hundred or something, it would make it 100. Yeah, it would make it really interesting. And with multiple iterations. They are going to have fairly antagonistic AI out there. I mean, every goddamn ship they pretty much sold has guns attached to it. Even some of the smaller ships. Like I can only think of 1 or 2 ships that don't have guns by default, and that's the Argo class of ship.
That's it, even the land vehicles have got weapons.
Mr. Postman, why do you have 2 massive size 4 guns on your post van?
It's like, well, that's what, like in America, isn't it? They deliver the post in a SWAT. They deliver it in a SWAT van, don't they? In America,
exactly. It's a rough neighborhood. You have to deliver milk in a SWAT van. Fucking Abrams.
Full body armor.
I'd love to see the Argo just end up with 1 massive size 5 gun, just like a tank on its roof. I think that'd be awesome.
I've always
sure be delivering lines or something.
I'd love to. There's so many like. I'd love to see just crazy modifications. We always said this before. I'd love to see more crazy modifications to ships. Like you could. They won't let us do it, but like we spoke about, like, you know, if you could just take a tumbrel and stick 2 jet engines on the side of it or something, just for the hell of it, you know, and just see what happens. You just literally just
M50. Just cut the cockpit off the M50 and just glue it to the back of the Cyclone where the cargo area is. There you go.
It would be awesome. It'd be so much fun. Just to see what happens. I don't think it much. I think it would just literally just sit there and it just go boom and just explode.
It just explode instantaneously.
It would be great to try it. Okay, so network bind culling is in polishing. Weapon system refactor is in polishing. The environmental blender shader is in polishing. The Aegis hammerhead is looking pretty tasty. We're well past. It looks like we're well past the halfway point now for the hammerhead. So people who have a hammerhead, good stuff for you. Everybody else that's bought ships from the beginning, I'm afraid you guys are going to have to wait just that little bit longer. Aegis Hammerhead's more important because of Squadron 42. Makes sense, I guess. If you think about that type of ship and what Squadron 42 is, it must be in Squadron 42, I guess. The Mustang Beta is really close now. It's like 8 of 11, I think. It's probably even closer as of today, I guess. So that will be in, I'm sure. The Constellation Phoenix, however, is just halfway. So I'm interested about that one to see if that makes it. The Phoenix, actually, if I'm honest.
The Phoenix is the one with the really cool piano, right?
Yeah. It's the luxury constellation.
Yeah, I'm curious. I might think that might make 3.4. Depends how much they need to do. I mean, these last bits could be really easy, like stick the piano keys or something in. 44 piano keys need to be added to it or something. But
45.
do you know what I mean? That's all that's waiting.
It's delayed because you can't play the
exactly.
piano.
Exactly.
I expect to be able to play that piano using my keys on my keyboard. Thank you very much, CIG. Sorry, I just delayed.
You'll be able to sit in the chair if you're lucky. That will be it. And look at it. I think that's all you'll get to do. You won't even nothing else other than look at it and sit in a chair. That's my anticipation. And then we've got the Cosstack Arms is pretty good. I mean, there's quite a lot of stuff that's looking good. There's nothing here. Like I said, there's just a few things that I'm a bit like, oh, we're only at halfway point on. But most 3.3 stuff looks like it's going to be, which is really good. I mean, the only thing, the locations like the Hurston Moons, polishing. Like, damn.
But they're not far off finishing Walla for Court.
I know, right?
So
Slow the fuck down, CIG.
Right.
No, slow down, boys.
Do you not understand how many moons we need for StarCitizen? Hurry up, CIG.
Hurston Planet. Hurston Planet is 71 of 82. Hurston Planet is so close. And here, okay, I've got a picture. Like somebody, hang on, let me just see if I can dig this up. Okay, so here we go. Right, I'm going to dig this up just to give us an idea. Okay, so this is Daymar, I believe. Okay, this is a picture of Daymar, okay, which is a moon, right? Pretty much a 10th the size of Hurston. Just to give you, like, I don't think we grasp still the sheer scale of the planet and the size of this game. I think once we see the first planet in game, I think people will really truly grasp the scale of the game.
I don't know. I think the only people who will grasp the scale are the crazy mofos that will actually try to run around a moon or fly all the way around the diameter of a moon.
They've already done.
It's It's very hard to judge the scale of a moon when you just see a picture of it kind of like from this angle, because like somebody will take a picture of Hurston with a freelancer in front of it and it'll look exactly the same size.
It'll be, I think, a bit further away to get that kind of
It'll have to be further away. It'll look pretty much exactly the same. You know, like I said, it's only the people who try to get all the way around the moon or try to travel from A to B on a specific moon. That I think that'll be when you kind of
the picture when you have the moon next to Hurston. When you have the two, they're right next to each other. I think that's when you'll have your ship, the moon, maybe another big ship, and then you'll have Hurston there, and we'll just look at it and just be like, oh, holy moly, it's huge.
Or like in orbit above
the rest stops.
Planets and moons, and as long as it's like the same distance away, or orbiting at the same distance, if that makes sense, then you'll probably notice the scale difference.
And also, we're gonna have to have more orbital marker points for Hurston. I mean, you can't just have the 6. I mean, you'd be way too far away from any points of interest.
I don't.
Unless they want to do spline jumps, because you're going to have trouble. The direct distance between OM points is going to be ridiculous, thousands of kilometers. And even right now, like a 300-kilometer journey, like down to like from one OM point to another, which I think is like 300 to 400 kilometers, depending on which moon you go to. That is on standard drives, like at 900 to 1100 meters per second. That takes a while.
I just
honestly, it would be nice though if we could plot our own markers, so we could.
We've got beacons.
We've got beacons. Addressed that recently.
Yeah.
Oh, what did they say?
They said they don't want us really breaking away from the beaten path. They're working on a system designed to kind of keep, because they want trade lanes. They want something like Freelancer, where you had to stay to the trade lanes to get around in the system.
I get that.
But they cut, because it sets interesting gameplay choke points up for ambushes and meeting people, because if everybody has to travel the same points, it kind of makes everything more predictable, easier to manage in an MMO. But when everybody can just blind jump everywhere, I think they dealt with it on Colonial Devs. They said they're really they don't know what the gameplay implications are, just allowing people just to engage their quantum jives and just go anywhere they want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense. I kind of get that.
See. I think as the game matures.
I've been playing Rebel Galaxy because Rebel Galaxy 2 is being played on, and I'm so glad I started playing. I only started playing it yesterday, and I've got like quite a lot of hours, but I'm really, really enjoying it. And one of the coolest moments in that game was when I realized that actually, if you're flying to a station or whatever, sometimes you will just come across other ships that are heading in the same direction as you're warping, and you'll kind of like merge on one another and just end up warping together. And it looks so frigging cool. And cool. Yeah, like
I love the warp mechanics in that game. I love how it's just the charge up and it goes, and then you start upgrading your warp drive, it goes faster. Yeah. And then you have cool stuff that happens along the way. So Rebel Galaxy, honestly, is a great little indie game that I recommend anybody who loves space game or science fiction to take a closer look at.
Rebel Galaxy 2 looks like it's going to be a little bit different, though, because they're actually giving you a cockpit. And it seems a little bit more...
It's going to be more like Privateer. Yeah, it's going to be more Privateer, Wing Commander kind of series.
We'll wait and see. The Rebel Galaxies, or whatever it's Outlaw, whatever I've seen, looks promising. I mean, it reminded me a lot of the original Squadron 42 trailers in terms of the styling and the colouring.
It reminded me of Freelancer.
I never played Freelancer, so unfortunately I don't know.
Freelancer's so good.
Oh, you haven't played Freelancer? Oh, man.
I'm actually thinking of doing a Freelancer stream or a couple of Freelancer streams like on a weekend or something like that and just complete the story.
I recommend. I've done the Freelancer stream. It was nice to go back and see it and show people just kind of like here's kind of where the space game kind of stopped. Really, when everything kind of after Freelancer, everything kind of fell off the map. It kind of went more niche. In my mind, at least it did.
What happened to the whole... Actually, do you know what? We'll do this. We'll have to save this for another podcast, I think. We'll have to do a little... What happened to space games and why they disappeared for such a long period of time, and why 2000... it took like, what was it, 15 years before, or maybe more than that
games
before
like Call of Duty happened and FIFA happened, and then the entire games industry went, oh, that's all the gamers want.
That was it.
Shooters,
just consoles.
And football games.
Okay, good to know. So the scale of that I just think when we see it, it will just be mind blowing. And when we see the biomes and you flying down and you see the water and you seeing like the mountains and I don't know. Do you know if it's gonna have snow? Do we know if it's gonna have snow? I don't know if we know if it's even gonna. Judging from what we saw at the Citizencon demo ages ago, where the guys on top of the mountain going, "Way," I just thought maybe it would have snow.
I hope if we do get snow. It probably won't be in this first iteration. But if we do get snow, it's going to be decent snow like we see on Tomb Raider. I know that's a lot to ask.
The thing is we all want single... The thing is I've realised is that CRG have this difficulty is that I think everybody wants a MMO single player level game in terms of like that polish that single player games bring. Everyone wants that level within this MMO, and if you actually look at MMO games generally, they are the most blandest to a point, very basic. If you think of like World of Warcraft, you think of Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, they're very, 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 very basic sets dressing. It's not anything like Star Citizen, which is again what Star Citizen stands out so differently and why they're pushing the boundaries. But it is they do have a big challenge on their hands, because if you want that Tomb Raider-y snow, and they'll do it, because from what we've seen, it looks amazing. But
the thing is, like that sort of snow is going to be handled by the client rather than the server. Like I can't imagine the server needing to know where every flake of snow is, so I can't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, you could do physics. You can do physics procedurally, like they've done in other games in the past, where you just have the building collapses in a very set way, and then it just the client just unpacks the animation on the same on every client's computer. Yeah. As long as everybody's synced up to the server properly, they just do the math and they just see it happen on their computers and procedurally. Yeah. But you can also do it like the physics can also just be done on the client side. You don't have to. The other clients don't have to interact with the same physics objects. I've seen this in other games where they just like Arma, where they have rabbits and whatnot running around the map, but those rabbits are only client side. You only the individual clients will see the rabbit. Somebody will say, "Hey, there's a rabbit over there," and like, "What rabbit?" I don't see a rabbit over there. I see a snake over there.
I've been seeing a hell of a lot more in over the last couple of years with games, where a lot of things aren't being synced up, and I get why that's the case.
Shame.
But
kind of instant break to immersion in StarCitizen world. Oh, I see a rabbit. Oh, I see.
You can only really send so much data.
Yeah.
In each packet. Do you know what I mean? Before
I think Chris would
need a 100 megabit connection to play stuff.
I can imagine that would bug Chris Roberts though. I can imagine that would bug him, like an OCD person. That would just be an annoyingest itch in the world that you'd want to get rid of, because it'd be like, it's breaking my immersion and the greatest space game of all.
It's breaking their immersion.
Fix it, Todd. Come here, Todd. Fix this now.
As MoistNoodle brought up, there's only so much. The true limitations to how many players you can have on a server or connected to each other is your bandwidth and your latency. Or you have to just give everyone megabit connections all over the world who plays your game, and that's not going to be a thing.
CIG is opening a new company. They're hiring new staff for a new broadband system that they're implementing next year. There'll be a Kickstarter campaign going for a whole new broadband service provided by Cloud Imperium Games. Welcome to the new cloud, it will be called. 25G on phone system. They just need another 250 million just to get it going. I'm sure it'll be fun.
I wonder what the perk rewards would be for the different tier of backing. You get fibre all the way to your house if you back $20,000.
Literally gold. It'll be gold team fiber. Or even better. What's the best fiber optic material for fiber optic cables? Is it gold or is it something else now?
Fiber optic.
Or whatever.
It's glass.
It's glass.
Yeah, fiber optic.
I'm not an engineer.
Covered in gold,
like
painted in gold.
Well, obvious. That's obvious.
The $500 option will be aluminium Theodore, and then the $5,000 option will be copper Theodore, and then $20,000.
Cool. People are already wanting to pledge. I can see it now. I can see the suckers now. We've already got them. In now. They're already like, I'll play. Where do I sign up for this? This is a great system. New people saying, what? What are you talking about? Star-Citizen's doing a new.
You also get a model spaceship for each one.
Yes, that would be good. So I think there's a few other things on here. There's like I said, there's some good stuff. Everything's tracking pretty good. I mean, the alarm bells for me will be ringing in probably about 2 weeks. In terms of, so was it 3 weeks? Is it 3 weeks now? I think it's going to Ivocati. Is it in Ivocati now, or is it Ivocati next week?
No, nobody knows. None of us are Ivocati.
They said. They said on
Reverse
the Verse. Jared took a break from the very unsexy work related to Reverse the Verse. They should have called it Work the Verse. They took a break from that at the very end. They said Ivocati earlier this week. We don't know if it's before Wednesday, Friday. We don't know.
Of course, Ivocati stuff never leaks, so we'll never know.
We'll never know. We may never know.
Oh, and we will leak it as well. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. We'll let everybody know instantaneously. They will go around the world in seconds, literally seconds, instantly. They can't keep that secret from anyone.
Wake up in the morning and the BBC headline is StarCitizen
3.3. Most hotly anticipated game has gone to 3.3 patch.
And that's why I didn't sign the NDA. That way, if anything just happens to leak to me, I can just turn around to my stream and say, "Hey, I heard this today about Ivocati."
I'm not talking about the planet though. Seriously, I think it's going to be quite a big. I think CIG really should leverage the Hurston and the planet part of the game out there to people. I mean, if they do bring in the ability to rent or buy ships for the game, and they bring in the planet, I think that's a real leverage to really show people. I think to say, hey, you know, all you naysayers about this game development, we really are doing this, and this is really moving in the right direction. And you know, argue what you want about the gameplay. Let's get back to this. Let's get down to the nitty gritty complaining about whether the game's good or not, and let's get away from all the bullshit about Scam Citizen and all this other shit, which is what I want to get to. I want to get to intelligent conversations about gameplay and what needs to be done to improve the game, and get away from all the other crap that's been going on on the background. You know. I don't want the scams, you know, the meme from Star Citizen to be Scam Citizen anymore. Do you know what I mean?
But this is the thing. Star Citizen will come out, and Star Citizen might even turn around and be like, win like 20 different awards: best game of the year, gold version, platinum version, blah blah blah, all that bullshit. And then like half of the gaming community will, like, PC Master Race will still be like, herder, Star Citizen, it'll never release.
Scam system. That's
There'll
scam
always-
of a game.
There'll always be a little bit of that, but I think, but then it'll be more in tongue in cheek, because they'll know. Do you know what I mean? You'll have put a lot of the things. You know, when people say, "Oh, when's this game going to have ships in game?" You'll be like, "Well, they're in game now. Here you go. You can get them." And then if someone's, you know, like you can't land on a planet, you know, well, look, here's the fucking planet. You know, it's like all that kind of stuff.
So,
I hate to say it, and I'm gonna see. I hate seeming like a skeptic. I always try to be that happy-go-lucky kind of guy.
Come on,
but
do
I
it. Just
think
stay with
I
the
am gonna-
happy-go-lucky. Stay with it.
I'm gonna sound like a skeptic now when I say, as time goes on, I can see that there's going to be more drama, more people.
Oh, there'll always be more drama.
Who are going to be like genuine backers who are going to be disillusioned with the game, because as time goes on, more and more people are going to realize that Star Citizen is not going to be the game that they thought it was going to be.
And
I don't mean that in a bad way.
But I don't mind that fight, though. I don't mind that argument, because that's an intelligent. That's talking about gameplay. We're not talking about bullshit behind the scenes. That is a far more interesting conversation, and we can make improvements to gameplay. We can make improvements to that. Though. We
I
can't change
think
people.
a lot of people have this preconceived idea of what Star Citizen is going to be in their head, whereas I have no sort of preconceived idea of what Star Citizen is going to be. All I wanted was another space game.
Yeah. And if we can go back to the captain's table, there was that one question that Paul kind of skipped over, and I was like, hey, there was an interesting, can Star Citizen fail? As a company,
yes.
As a company, I think it's possible, but I think the more interesting, like, we don't know if it's going to fail or not. Like, we have to know the internal financials, and Chris isn't going to release that. Nobody's going to see that except for people in charge. But there's a more interesting conversation about what MoistNoodle brought up, is that the game can be a failure for individuals or people playing, because there's definitely a lot of people out there who think they know what Star Citizen is going to become. Even I think I know what Star Citizen is going to be. That's why I went back and played Chris Roberts' games, but I may have, because there's 500 people working for there, and it's hard to wrangle all these people to get them to unify into one vision. Like, so you may have stuff that slides in unbeknownst to people, and, you know, things change, and you have all this and that and those other things. So you may have the game evolve over time into something. And we look at one of the things that I'm very displeased with in Star Citizen has always been the animations, always been the animation lengths. Getting out of bed when you log into the server, you see that enough times, you get sick of it. Getting into your ship, you see that enough times, you get sick of it. The constellation, you get into the seat, you get into the elevator, you get into your seat. There's always time away, and they've said they're going to make this stuff work. You know, loading and unloading your ship is going to be part of the gameplay. There's going to be timers all over the place. There's going to be fun taxes and insurance and renting stuff for, you know, housing yourself, housing your ship. So. And plus, we also have the ship buying with real money aspect, and how bad is the grind going to be? It's an MMO. There's going to be some grind. Is the grind going to be so punishing that you're going to have that purchasing a ship outright with real money is going to be more attractive because of the amount of time you're going to save? You know, work is going to be the grind, and Star Citizen is going to be the game, right? Or is it going to be the other way around? Is Star Citizen going to be the grind, and work is going to be the way you're going to get around that?
But you haven't said anything that's. I think most educated people in Star Citizen are aware of those type of things. I think if you come into Star Citizen and think that it's going to be COD, or like some sort of super fast paced COD kind of style game, then I think you're definitely deluded. I mean, it only takes 5 seconds of playing.
That's quite the generalization. I don't think it's that kind of attitude that is going to lead to people being disappointed. I think it's much finer things that will probably lead to people like a certain profession. Like, say somebody wants to be a doctor, and you might have that one person out there who wants to be a doctor in the game, and in their head, you know, they're going to be able to design new vaccines themselves to combat some sort of disease that's spreading across the universe, like dynamic diseases. And yeah, I know, like
procedurally generated herpes. Oh my god! Don't give him any more ideas.
No, but I'm with you, Moist, on that one. I think it is like that. It's just like the people who want to do exploration and deep, meaningful exploration and finding alien bodies and creating, like, meeting aliens for the first time and standing there doing a Vulcan sign or something to try and formulate some sort of... They want a super movie experience that's kind of like all the Star Treks and sci-fi movies they've played and seen rolled up into a gaming experience, and they've built the game up into that. And StarCitizen has done a very good job of building it up as well, because they want to entice people to give them money, which is absolutely the way that they've done it.
Everybody wants to be Han Solo. Everybody wants to be Luke Skywalker. Everybody wants to be Darth Vader.
Picard.
Sure.
Jean-Luc Picard. Everybody wants to be the hero of their story, but Star Citizen is an MMO, and you in an MMO you have to basically, like EVE Online, you're not the hero. You are a cog in the wheel of the war machine, and your job is to die to do and die, essentially, for what your organization says. Like, it's a war of attrition. You throw bodies at the enemy and you try to grind their ships down before you run out of money. Most of the time in EVE Online,
my player's just there, like, with his little, like, corporal hat on. Send in the lemmings. If you're in test, you're probably gonna die a lot.
Okay, so we have a question. So the first question is a great question, because he basically asks about Liverpool. But this is by Bayan Frog. He says, "What are the chances of Liverpool winning this year?" They're pretty good chances. I'd say probably like a 2-1.
Are we on about the rugby ball?
Football, soccer.
Oh, football.
And then the next question is actually about Star Citizen. This is from Asnog. He says, "If you were to create the next concept for Star Citizen, what vehicle would you create?"
I love the idea of some sort of aircraft carrier. That can.
I love the idea
ships.
of some sort of wheeled vehicle with a jet engine strapped to the back of it.
So basically, you're trying to say we need something like the Drake Herald, actually on wheels.
Drake Herald on wheels, or just an M50. Actually, Shredney was asking me today. He's like, "Vertigo, how come you don't have a wheeled vehicle, a land vehicle in your account that's fast?" I'm like, "I already do. It's an M50. M50 has wheels on it. I just land that thing and drive that thing around."
You know, I actually did
actually work.
I did a reskinning of a car that was done, a Peugeot car that I did it with I did an Origin branding on it, but it was actually a Peugeot, whatever you want to call it, car concept that someone had done. I didn't do the concept; it's a beautiful drawing, but it looked like an Origin, like the type of an M50-esque type of race thing, like a dune buggy. It had like wheels on the side. It was like a 1-2-seater thing, like a Formula One race car with kind of sand buggy wheels. You know, it looked amazing. It looked really cool. I'll see if I can dig out a picture later, but it looked very cool. But in terms of my idea for the vehicle, my vehicle is still not in game. Jay Lee has let me down, so when I see him, I'm going to be putting him into a gentle, cuddly chokehold when I see him in LA, because
a 6-inch hug.
A 6-inch, because he still refuses to make my war fuel Mad Max monster truck beast thing with like turrets and flamethrowers on the top and the side that basically people can just get on and just go crazy with them. Like, he's done why he's not making it. It's really annoying me.
Well, he's promised me blue hair, so in 3.3, so he's getting all the love from MoistNoodle at Citizencon.
Wow. So you actually get it. I'm Jaylee.
Apparently, because if you remember, there was actually blue hair in the PTU for 3.2.
Was there?
But then, yes. But then it disappeared, and he explained to me that there was some sort of whatchamacallit issue, not rendering issue.
Ninja malfunction.
Oh, there was a technical issue. So yeah, promised 3.3.
Too much Ninja. He needs to get Ninja. That's what they were trying to do. They're just trying to get Ninja into stream Star Citizen. That's all they want. They just try and get him in with his blue hair just to take it to the masses. That would be the thing.
Shader. Thank you, Christian. Thank you. Shader. That's the technical term. Shader. There's a problem with a shader.
They switched.
Too technical for me.
Yeah.
So going back to ground vehicles a second.
Yeah, go for it. Your vehicle.
If CIG was to make a new ground vehicle, what do you think it would be, or what would you like to see as a ground vehicle? What type of vehicle?
Motorbike, 2-seater motorbike with wheels. Two-wheel motorbike. Just a beast of a thing.
The thing from Oblivion was pretty cool, I thought.
That little flying thing.
Tom
Cruise movie where Tom Cruise played Tom Cruise.
He had a motorbike in that kind of unfolded.
I want a motorbike.
Really cool.
Yeah, I don't want a two-wheel. I want something on the ground that's wheels. Like, I originally wanted that with the Nox. They let me down with the Nox. The Nox doesn't deliver what I want, so I want 2 wheels on the ground.
Can you just take the Nox and put some wheels on it? Some
that would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
I mean, how it handles though, isn't it?
I would be dope with a vehicle that can do. Like, I know CRG don't do this, but I would be very happy with a vehicle that, like, I had, again, going back to my toys as a kid, I had Mask, and there was a motorbike that you could split the wheels out, and then it became like a hover bike, and then the wheels would then join back together again, 2 wheels, and then it would be a motorbike again. I would be totally cool with that. Then you could kind of hover over water and hover.
Wasn't that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang you're thinking about here?
There's a few things. I mean,
pretty sure that's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
It was Mask. It was. Okay. I mean, Mask did the best toys. I've said this before. They've done some sick toys, man. When I was a kid.
God, please don't Google it again.
So good, so good. It's all the designs are there for somebody to do stuff, honestly. But they won't do it because it's less money. Why do a concept that can be 2 vehicles when you can make money on 2 vehicles? That's the way I kind of look at it. So it'll never happen. Yeah. Unfortunately. What was your vehicle, Moist? What was the vehicle that you would have done?
Oh, I don't know.
No, you got nothing.
I really thought about it.
What would you do?
For me,
hairdresser's van, or something. You know, they can get
that'd be so good. Like, oh no, my roots are coming through. I just need to top up the blue.
Touch it up. Top it up.
Just an emergency. You can imagine like Moist like sending out a beacon emergency. So my hair is going and roots. I need an immediate AI to come and drop and do my hair.
By the way, if Ricky Jutley ever gets around to watching the Asylum podcast, which I don't think he does, Ricky, I'm coming for you, my friend. It's a little bit flat today, but at Citizencon, let me tell you, my friend, my hair at Citizencon is going to be this tall.
You just watch something about Mary if you want to know how to get it that tall. There's a really great scene in something about
Jesus.
That's exactly what I do. I'm storing it up ready for Citizencon. Got my little bottle right here.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, damn. Right. Okay. So next question is from Zach, who asks a very important question is did you get good yet?
No.
Yes, I did. I managed to. I'm beating Dark Souls.
Okay, so my answer to Zach is when you actually turn up to an event and win a competition, then you can tell us to get good. But until then, you need to turn up to a competition and win it.
Madness is holding on to that trophy.
No, I'm not holding on to it anymore. I won it the 1 year, but I'm just saying, like, for people that
Madness wasn't allowed to hold on to it.
No, I wasn't. I had to let it go.
I'll talk to you later, Madness.
They weren't allowed to touch it. He wasn't allowed to even touch it. He got a picture of it.
Yeah, it was.
You can have it for 5 minutes, Madness. Then we're taking it from you.
It was this moment. If anyone that wasn't there, basically, I got handed the trophy at Citizencon, and I was like, "Oh, really excited!" And then the girl that was like there, I think I don't know if she was a helper or whatever. She was like, "Oh, okay, you can take it." I was like, "Citra, so what do I do with it?" Because I thought, you take a trophy home with me. That was a bit weird, but I was like, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you can take it home with you." Blah blah. And then I went, and I was like, "Well, is there a case for it or something?" And then I went to talk to the organisers, and they're like, "Oh no, you can't take it home with you." I was like, "Oh, gutted." I was like, "Well, okay, fair enough." I should have made a break for it.
They've helped me to. They've asked me if I'd be interested in helping organise Citizencon. So
exciting!
And my first rule of business is that it's going to be themed blue.
Wow!
And
your face is going to be on the trophies. It's going to be a trophy with blue hair, and that's the trophy. It's going to be Moist's face.
I can imagine him doing get those disposable paper plates and just gluing macaroni pieces and to make little trophies of his face out of macaroni.
It's gonna be amazing.
Macaroni will go over us as we win. He'll just have this kind of. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to turn up and watch this happen.
And then you can spray everybody down with the hoses and you're like, aha, it's MoistNoodle's party.
God, honestly.
The t-shirts of Citizencon next year again is just gonna be my face. It'll be amazing.
It will be amazing. Right. Okay. So, again, I like to do shout outs to the community, but I thought this was amazing. I don't know if you guys went on the ATV. This what the guys did. I'll pause the video.
Yeah.
Like
That was
what
cool.
what an amazing. I mean, there was another picture, but if someone just cut this bit. But what an amazing thing the community did here. I just blew me away. Like when I saw this and like they made a big person, and then the lights and the way it just looked, I was like, tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. I just wanted to give a shout out to the guys that organised that and did it. It's like the guys who do Daymar rallies and all this stuff. Superb.
Talking about that's like the star past the face right there.
Past the face, yep.
That's it. That's what you need for the trophy, right? Right away.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a couple questions. I got another question, which is from Ginger Trucking. He says, how nerdy do you think the engineering's going to get? Which is a good question. I hope it doesn't get scum level of kind of like metabolistic and kind of crazy, but it's already pretty heavy. If you look at the key bindings and you look at the kind of the powering up systems that they've got on stuff, and that's only going to get probably more complicated. So I think it'll get pretty heavy, if I'm honest. I think there will be they want it to be skill based, so I think nothing says skill than that.
Again, it comes down to any profession. I think, like I was talking about medical earlier, doctors. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how deep they go with some of the professions.
Better bring your own examination gloves.
Don't worry, Moist is always carrying a pair, I'm sure, in his back pocket. He's like that.
Yeah, we need to. I this is why I tell people don't buy ships based on the concept pitch. Wait for the gameplay to get in to support it before you kind of get it.
Well, did
mining
anyone
seems
hear
all right.
Mercury? Did you buy Mercury? Would you have bought a Mercury if you could? If you just had the money and it wasn't like a kind of, would you buy it? Would you have bought it?
I bought it.
He did buy it.
It looks so pretty.
Looks like a mouse. Looks like one of those mice, like one of those very fancy gaming mice.
I have to say, I came very close as well. I was very close to buying it, and then I slapped myself in the face a few times and woke up. Because I was like, it was more, the problem was, it's not because of anything other than the fact that I couldn't shuffle anything around in my hangar. I'm very particular about what I've bought and the way I want to proceed with the game. So everything in my hangar now has a place. So anything new has to be bought realistically with new money. And so I don't want to drop to any, like $200 at the moment. It's just not going to happen. So I was like,
I actually CCU'd because I can't remember which ship I changed for it. But a lot of the ships I have, I'm not super enamored with, or there's a handful of them that I'm not super enamored with. Like, I like the idea of the gameplay that they're supposed to bring in, but the actual ship itself, I don't necessarily like that much. So yeah, I can't remember which ship I CCU'd, but I CCU'd one of them up to it, and it's definitely a ship I'm more interested in.
It's a beautiful ship. I'm definitely going to buy it in game. I'll definitely own it. I think I definitely want to troll up. I say that, then you don't know what we're going to get around the corner, but I think it's something I'll definitely have as a fleet ship and see. But on paper, it's not really that great. If you actually look at the paper stats again of it, you know, it's not that fast. It doesn't have a huge amount of cargo space. It does a bit of data stuff. It just looks pretty. And again, you know, it's tricky.
When it comes to ships at the moment, I am going on what the gameplay is supposed to be and what it looks like. Yeah. Because the stats, when it comes to balancing, all the stats will, like the stats that we have now, just in 2-3 years time, we'll look back at the stats and go, oh, can you imagine that this is what the ship was supposed to be like?
Well, this is true. It's definitely true. But I think, like, if you were to compare, like, right now, a Cutlass to it, the Cutlass is still got a better military spec. Like, it's, I mean, I'm very combat orientated, you know, so I'm looking at survivability. I'm looking at attack power. I'm very much about survivability, you know, that's the way I look at it. And you know, it's not like you're not going to be able to do the Han Solo, you know, let's pull some maneuvers here, kid, and try and get away from it, you know, because it's not that fast, and it's not, I don't think it's that maneuverable. Like I said, the guns aren't great. If you stick it next to a Cutlass.
Well, you can against the Star Destroyer. Like, if you're going up against a Star Destroyer in a YT-130 transport, you probably could pull some maneuvers and
power it down and just stick to the underneath of one of them, then you'll be fine, right? Or, you know, that's the way to do it. I wonder if that'd be a thing. Anyway, but to answer the question, we have to go back to the question, sorry, because I brought this, my fault, my badness, I brought this away. It was about engineering.
A little bit of badness.
What do you guys think? Do you think it will be, because I was actually, Moist, you did raise a point about the engineering, like in terms of the complexity, but about between different professions. But then I was like, don't see. This is the hype. This is where I get confused with CIG sometimes. Sorry, just hear my brain because I'm thinking as we're doing this. Don't you find they kind of like hypocritical in some ways because they talk about how in theory you could just do any other profession. You know, we could just jump in, or is that? Do you think that's just because you can get the ship and the vehicle you can jump in, but to actually be any good at any profession, you need to know it. You know what I mean? So you
can attempt any profession. I think that's what you could do. You can attempt. I think that's what they're really going after here.
Okay.
It's definitely going to come down to, mining itself right now, tier 0 implementation of it is just, keeping the bar in the green zone. And for some reason, a lot of people just that.
Oh, you roboted on me. No. Hey, see. Say that again.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, you roboted. Say that again.
Sorry.
Okay.
You can attempt any profession, I think is what CIG really means.
Okay.
You look at tier 0 mining right now. Anybody can climb into a prospector and shoot the laser at the rock, but some people I have problem with the really difficult rocks, but some people have problems with the easier rocks. They just keep blowing them up and it kills them. So I think CIG wants you they don't want you to have to level up your character and you have to, put points into that path. And you have to keep playing that path in order to be good at it, or, just timers and cooldowns and whatnot.
Yeah.
You can just get the ship, or you can get the equipment, like some of the, like the doctor profession. Like if you want to become a field surgeon or something, you just have the medical pack on you.
Yeah.
And then you just cut someone open and you're really bad at it, and their heart, you transplant a heart. Instead of transplanting their heart, you transplant a grenade into their chest and it blows up and kills everybody because you're bad.
And this is the thing, like something to bear in mind is that, you can do a profession, but it doesn't mean you're necessarily good at it. So taking doctoring as an example, if you put a new heart into somebody, like that heart might only last like a week, or it might last 6 months in game, dependent on, like, that's just a terrible example by the way. But the example I'll go back to is repairing, right? They talked a long time ago about repairing, and like the repair job that you do comes down to your ability to use like the right materials and how well you blah 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 blah. So yeah, being able to do the profession and then being able to do the profession well are two different things.
And that repairing doc was so old. Anything before 2015 is like really suspect in my mind. All those old documents really need to be fleshed out with more modern concepts. I don't think we're going to have like 4 different professions for repairs. That's way too complicated.
I think that's why they pulled it, and that's why they delayed it, because I think repairing is going to probably get a big look at. That's why they pulled it to the end, to the middle of next year. I think repairing is being
and CIG
totally
really doesn't
shifted.
know how things are going to go until about 6 months away. Anyways, it seems like.
Yeah. I think they're kind of almost like
I was about
building
to
the
say,
stadium.
I don't think we'll see those documents, because I've seen a few people on Reddit say, "Oh, can we have an update of this document?" It's not going to happen until they actually start working on it now. At this point,
Yeah.
But one of the things that really surprised, it wasn't until today that I realized that we don't actually have any gameplay coming in 3.4.
No, we don't.
It really surprised me.
Not even refueling.
Something. I know.
Not even refueling, and that happened several weeks ago when all the gameplay stuff got pushed out.
Yeah, I think they just show. Like, I look at it as like they're building. I just said it earlier. They're building the stadium. Is the best way to describe it, and then they're going to put the stuff, the gladiators and everything else in it. It's like you gotta
build the pitch before you have the game on it. Yeah,
which is kind of, it's just an interesting way of doing it. Some people would do it another way around. It feels like they would build the bits in the middle and then put the pitch around it, but they're doing it. I don't know. I've never done a game, so I don't know what's the proper way to do it. But they're doing it a way to do it, and I'm sure they're professionals. They know what they're doing. So hey. That's just the way they're doing it.
Like I've just been so excited for 3.3. I haven't really paid much attention to anything beyond 3.3. But quite frankly, the only thing I care about in 3.3 is the transit system. So when it comes out, I'm just going to hop into an elevator, ride the elevator around for a little bit, and then I'm done for 3.3.
The thing that,
playing DCS
what happens on Moist is that as we've been doing, it's like 9 months has passed since the first roadmap. by the time things move along, it's very hard to remember and to keep track of what the original roadmap was. You know, unless somebody has taken a screenshot and digs it out and says, "Hey, this was the original pitch, and then this is what the actual resulting amount of stuff that was," and then you can come compare them. That's what we're going to do at the end of the year on the show, is we're going to literally pull out what was originally pitched and what came into fruition and kind of judge the year. That's kind of the way it will happen. It's going to be a good year. I think it's been a good year. It's going to be a lot of good stuff, but it'll be interesting to see what gameplay mechanics has it made it, because that's always seems to be the biggest hit all the time, is the gameplay mechanics, and that's the one thing that everybody really wants a lot of the time, is more gameplay mechanics. So it's kind of it's frustrating for a lot of people, but there's clearly a reason for it, and we just have to be patient. Right, let's move on.
The one thing I do look forward to 3.3 is the asteroid mining, because I know that with the asteroid mining, immediately after it is going to come the people complaining on Reddit and Spectrum going, "Oh my god, I have to chase these rocks through space." I'm just like, yes, you do. You're in space, you idiot.
Welcome to us being a space game.
It's
a space
like,
game.
There's definitely needs to be a mechanic. We spoke about it on the captain's table. I would say like a dampening field or a net or some sort of way to kind of like, and it can be a bought module again. And yeah, tractor beams, or you get your mate in his caterpillar or whatever to have to have the tractor beam up.
Just have his doors open next to it, so they all just blow into the caterpillar.
Yeah, exactly. No, so I think there's stuff there, but again, a lot of that I think is will be improvements to tier 2, tier 3, and also updates, component parts updates to ships. I think a lot of the improvements that we'll see will come from component parts and improvements to our ships, rather than actual. Having to implement stuff in game and stuff, if that makes sense. I think that's where it'll be. But yeah, there's still loads of stuff to come. The scale, we didn't talk about the Mercury on the podcast because it came out before, so we've kind of just talked about it. We've talked about new ATVs being a little bit disappointing. Actually, no, I'm not going to show it because I was just going to show an old ATV. Basically, it's pointless showing an old ATV. We all know the score. It was 30 minutes. It was beautiful. There was something about vaulting in it, though. It was an old one. I actually had vaulting in it, and it had some tech. Yeah. And I was like, that was in, I don't know, when was it then? Sorry, hang on. Let me just get the date on it. Let me see if I can pull the date up.
I'm pretty sure they mentioned it at the last Citizencon as well, when they were talking about animation, because they had a what do we call it, presentation all about animation.
Yeah,
I think it got mentioned then as well.
They had because it showed the range and like the grabby hands and like picking up your helmet, and because a lot of these videos we see them and then they disappear, like throwing the helmet, like physically throwing items and stuff. It had the vault, but it was different. It wasn't like what they showed us the other day. It was tired states, so the more tired you get, the different you vault over the wall. So if you're really tired, you will fail to get over the wall, which was
you're just a fat bloke like me. You just kind of roll onto the wall and then just fall off the other side.
I would just open the gate and walk through that, instead of going over the wall.
Yeah.
Here's the gate. But, there's no gate mechanics.
When you're 32 years old, you're like, I'm still down with the kids. I can still vault over a wall. Oh shit.
And then he fractures his wrist, and he cracks 2 ribs. Oh no, my elbow.
But again, that's like, for me, coming back to like the heavy armor. The heavy armor should be really challenging to kind of like get over a wall, or it should take a shit ton of energy.
I'm just gonna be there. I'm gonna be there in my ship jacker armor, just diving over walls. I just look back at this madness, like just leg over the wall. I'll be with you in a minute.
Actually, I don't wear heavy armor, but whoever it is, it's going to be hilarious. Someone watch them just put their arm, the leg, the belly, just roll over, or run straight through the fence. Could you imagine? Like, I think there's a movie. I think it was the movie with Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, and he was like, eventually started. He was like trying to vault over the things, and eventually started running through the stuff thing.
Yeah. Oh my god! Yes, that was just something I just saw on an old ATV, and I was like, "Oh, dude, those ATVs were excellent, like really good." That one got 5.5K upvotes.
I actually cancelled my subscription about 6 weeks ago because while I don't want to keep jumping on their ATV train, we were told that ATV was being made shorter as a format because they wanted to bring in several different formats, so several different shows for different types of backer, and all they did was cut down ATV and then never gave us the other shows for the other types of backer.
And let's not forget, if we want to just sprinkle just a little bit of salt on there, around the verse last week and reverse the verse last week were kind of well, they weren't kind of, they were
Do you know what's really interesting is if you look at the numbers, if you look at the last 3 weeks of ATVs, they've all achieved roughly around the 1.5k in viewers. It's just like, so like, oh, I'm always interested in stats. And obviously, if you look back to some of the older, more longer, substantial ATVs, they get up to 5-6k. Now, I know it's a longer period of time, so more people have watched them. But what I do know is most people don't generally go back to an exact point of the however many hundreds of ATV videos there are, because there is so many to pick out one or two. But if you do actually, like, if you look at the reverse the verse, some of them are like 24k, 50k. I mean, obviously those are like usually related to big events and stuff, so I have to kind of watch them with a pinch of salt, as it were. But the numbers of people watching the ATVs is definitely dropped. It's definitely dropped off, and I think that is definitely due to a little bit of
I have
maybe I'm getting my stuff wrong here. Sorry, scrap that. Scrap me.
I know that Disco has been super busy because of being in Europe. I know that he's been working in the European time zone, and then on top of that also been trying to work in the American time zone. So that's probably why the last few weeks have been pretty not amazing. And also with Citizencon coming up, yes, I'm sure that they've been holding stuff back. I'm not an idiot.
They're saving up. They're just like you, Moist. They're saving up. They got a little bottle right next to their seat.
Yeah.
For Citizencon.
But when you as a company, like, I'm going to put myself into backer mode, when CIG, you as a company say, oh, we're cutting back this particular content because we want to kind of split this content into multiple other shows so they can be for different types of backer.
Sorry, I got my numbers wrong. I meant to say it's 1.5k thumbs up, but it's still that they got good views. They got 24,000 views. Sorry, just please ignore me. I was having a dyslexic moment. Just to clarify, but it's the thumbs up. The other ones were getting more substantial, like 4 or 5 times, which means
interaction.
That's what I meant.
People interact
before someone kills me and goes, "Madness, what are you talking about? They got 24,000, 36,000 on the last one." Yeah, no, I meant thumbs up.
I do sympathise with CIG a little bit, because Chris Roberts mentioned on an ATV, it wasn't the last ATV he was on, I think it was the one before, that they're not going to show stuff until it's pretty much ready to go. And I think that has compounded a lot of this. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason for that is because CIG will show stuff that's R&D, so research and development, stuff that they're toying around with and just throwing ideas in.
Was reverse the verse. That was the last reverse the verse. They were just like, hey, this is an experimental build. We're building a gameplay thingy. Yeah.
But I think people kind of see some of that R&D stuff and then they take it for gospel, and then get super salty when that stuff doesn't sort of turn into anything. So I suspect that's probably why they're also holding stuff back. So
yeah. Oh, that was like the Cutlass. What happened to the Cutlass. The Vanguard is actually a very big example of that. Everybody saw the concept art for the Vanguard. Mm-hmm. Here I am digging up the corpse of the Vanguard. Everybody saw it. That's fucking old, that old chestnut. But yeah, the Vanguard had an amazing concept art, and then the Vanguard got released, and everybody's like, "What the fuck? This is nothing." This is like I'm waking up to her sister. I went out drinking with my boys last night, and I'm waking up next to her ugly roommate. What the fuck is this?
I think the one thing is that was a time when they were making bad looking shit. Like, honestly, the ships they make now, you can't take it away from CIG. They make beautiful spaceships now, and the pipeline is pretty freaking solid, and they've been making them now for 5-6 years. You get pretty good at it when you've been doing it for so long. So I'm gonna, it's like anything, the more you practice, the better you get. Their skills at making spaceships and concepts is tremendous. So, and they've got a great team. They've got a great team there now, and I think that new technologies are all the time coming in, making that better. So I have no doubt.
Now, if only that great team can work on getting the Redeemer out the door, that would be also great.
There's quite a few
I'm
ships.
Step away for a moment while you talk about the Redeemer.
We won't. We're not. There's been said. There's too much has been said.
Trolling about this.
It's too triggery for many people. So interesting. Just talking about the lawsuit. I don't know if anyone knows that the CIG and Crytek judge has set a date for scheduling the conference at the beginning, which will be the 12th of October.
There we go. So we actually have something to talk about there eventually.
There should be something. What are we in now? September, October. So in theory, there will be the date for this is basically for discovery gathering. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out from that. Obviously, for the if people obviously are interested in the lawsuit, which we should be, because obviously it'll be a percentage chunk of our money.
That's going to be the judge determining the scope of discovery. Like what can Crytek look at and what can't they look at? What's going to be relevant to the case? Can you look at these emails between these two parties? Like emails from the backers to CIG, financial reports for the backers, how much this backer spent on this, how much this backer spent on that, or are you going to be able to look at customer service records?
Yeah, this is what I was thinking. Like, could you imagine, like, if it came to a place where physical records started to be released, how it would be, they had to produce that in court, and obviously it was public record and information, people, they don't want to.
I think CIG would push for confidentiality. They would try to either settle before stuff got public, or they would push the judge to say these records need to be sealed for the good of our business, trade secrets, confidentiality, that kind of like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Quite interesting. That's going to be interesting. And then we have the. Let me just see if there's any other questions. Oh yeah, okay. Here's a question. So what if CIG made each new release system at one at a time? Hang on, let me just even get this information right. What if CIG made each newly released system a one-time universe-wide mission? So again, this is somebody was saying, like, when we, rather than you just get given something, you all have to get together to try and break it free of the pirates or the vandal or whatever, to try and turn it into our space effectively that we can use as a group of people. What would you feel about that type of...
Elite Dangerous does this kind of, and I find it really boring.
That's what I was going to ask, is like, I think Eve did something similar where they have like, oh, alert, the thingies are coming, but most people I noticed just tended to not bother getting together and doing it.
As an individual, like, if you're a hardcore player, like, you doing your bit, you don't notice you doing your bit necessarily. Yeah, in Elite Dangerous, you kind of get rewards for hitting different tiers for like how much time and effort you put into it. But I don't know, like
We're going to have something like that. We're going to have global community goals in the game, some sort of massive PvE event, like you have a global raid or something where you're going to have Vandal invade a system. Everybody has to kill 20 Vandals today, or else the Vandal take the Vega system or something. But as for game mechanics,
as long as they don't have it like they had on the Mercury, where you pick two options. You have two options to choose from, and the community equally choose both options. So it just kind of stays in the middle permanently.
Community stuff can be trolled, and I go back to the Elite Dangerous stuff. There was a bunch of trolling that went around with Elite Dangerous' community goals and whatnot. Every time they did this big community thing, people would try to find ways to break it. So in that regard, either you have the community has all the power, or the community has no power.
And in my head, I think to myself, the community goal is all well and good, but is it actually a community goal? Like, or is it just, are the developers just going to flick a switch after like 6 days and just be like, oh, the community hit the goal, well done everybody, that's nice.
Well, you could have,
if only two people turned up,
they might NPCs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people will turn up though. I think when I've seen a lot of MMO, like if there's a really great reward for doing it besides just opening up the world, but like if you get rewarded for it, like you earn land, or they give you a bit of gear, or there's a new exclusive spaceship, or then people will do it.
Give like exclusive skins for gear and whatnot.
Yeah, skins, gear. Like promises of like. I mean, again, if the game is full, and there's a whole new system out there, and it won't be full, but if it felt full, and you want to find your own new planets and new land to explore and kind of conquer, and all the old hats have already conquered these bits of space, and you feel like you can't really make an inroads there, then opening these systems would be appeal to a lot of people still.
If we were going to do community goal based shit, I would much prefer it go down the route, rather than the way that Elite does it, the route of what, I don't know if Eve still does it now, but they used to do it years ago, where, oh shit, a huge fleet has just jumped into this high security sector. They are an alien species. We better fight them back, and we're going to have to work as a community to fight them back. You know, something more hands-on, so the people who like combat, they can go in and they can actually be in the battle doing some combat stuff. The people who are medics get their gameplay. The people who do refueling get their gameplay, etc., etc.
And you're always going to have the trolls and the griefers who come out and they're going to help the alien race. I assume Star Citizen is going to do something like that, but you're going to have people who are going to turncoat, play for the aliens and whatnot, try to sabotage the community's guidelines. And you have people bringing up in chat where even at the end of the goal, you're close to losing, and then CIG just flips the switch and says, "Oh wow, you made it anyways! Congratulations, everybody!" You know, if you have a situation that comes up where you can't possibly lose any of these community stuff, and you just always win.
Kind of doesn't feel like
it's kind of shallow.
Kind of shallow. Yeah, maybe.
And I think that's just it. I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said shallow.
Maybe they make
that sort of gameplay. It's just like and somebody mentioned consequence in chat, and that's the thing. The thing that I love about the idea of Star Citizen, everything has consequence, and seeing like these scripted events. I don't know.
What would be a good scripted event then? What would you, if you were CIG and you needed to make a kind of like, you need to kind of like create content to obviously keep people constantly engaged and doing things, what would you do? What would be your kind of...
I would say the whole thing that Elite Dangerous did around the what are they called? The Vargoids?
Thargoids?
Thargoids, not Vargoids. Thargoids. Was kind of cool. I like how it was a slow thing that sort of took place over time. Also, the thing that No Man's Sky... Now, I don't know if many people know what No Man's Sky did leading up to the latest patch coming out. It was real world shit. As in, like, the developers dropped little hints, and somebody worked out that they had to be at an airport in a specific place on a specific day at a specific time, and the guy just went, and then some random person in a suit walked up to them, gave them a package, and walked away. I'm not saying like Sage you should do shit like that, but it's like thinking outside the box. And the whole thing with the Thargoid thing, it was
whoa. You can't go away from that.
Talking about an ARG, alternate reality.
What was in the box? Did they get the Pulp Fiction gold suitcase?
It was either cassette tape or VHS tape. It was a tape.
Sounds a bit dodgy, really. Sounds like, you know.
It was.
What's on the tape, buddy? You had to sign an NDA before.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Wow.
But like the whole thing with the Thargoids, where it was just one player who just happened to be traveling and then was interdicted by a Thargoid. Like, I love the idea of something like that happening on Star Citizen, whether it be, you know, just an alien race that we've never seen before. But the way it kind of built up over time was really cool. It just unfortunately turned into a fairly lame thing towards the end with Elite Dangerous. I think that CIG could probably do a much better, more cinematic job.
I think they could do like, you know, like famines and whatnot, droughts for entire planets where people have to start shipping stuff out there, and then you have pirates come in and try to NPC pirates come in and start profiteering. It's like, oh, we need to shove the pirate king back, and then you have this giant conflict that arises over this world that needs water and ice. So you have people hauling stuff out there. You have miners starting to mine more asteroids for ice and water and whatnot. And then you have people trying to fight back the pirates. I think that would be kind of an interesting idea there.
But something that really has given me hope with CIG or Star Citizen is quite a long time ago. They mentioned that they'd managed to really nail the animation pipeline and the mission pipeline for creating missions. So they could create a mission in like 24 hours or 48 hours or a week. I can't remember what it was exactly. It was quite a while ago. And the thing with
We clearly
them
haven't got it yet then, because that shit is not here yet.
Yeah, it's not here yet.
So
Cracked
the
it.
advantage of them doing stuff like that, and especially the advantage of them having FOIP, is they could essentially have an actor live on, like, can you imagine being in the verse? Because we know that we're going to have like televisions with channels on stuff like, can you imagine all TV channels flicking over to a particular channel and then having a live actor doing mocap there and then, and that being, and them responding to things that people are saying to them and stuff like that. I think that'd be freaking awesome.
Well, I know other MMOs have done stuff like that, where they've had they've had employees take control of in-game NPCs. Like, what was that one? That superhero one?
What EVE Online did
City
it
of
years
Heroes.
ago.
City of Heroes.
Exciting, but
City of Heroes had a couple characters that were controlled by actual staff members, and they would do like in-game events with those characters. And they would lead like players for doing heroic quests and whatnot. I could see them doing that. They can have like someone inside the studio doing mocap work for a character and do like do a TV broadcast for like their version of Jeremy Clarkson, like, or some sort of news person.
We have talked about it before, so I don't want to talk about it for too much.
What was that game?
longer.
Senua's Sacrifice. Something Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Came out this year. Their public sort of event for announcing the game was really, really cool, because they essentially had a live mocap on the stage with the actress. So they started showing the trailer, and then as the trailer was going on and the character was talking to the camera, they opened a curtain, and there was the actress live performing the actual trailer, which was freaking awesome. You know, if CIG can pull that sort of stuff off, then I have a lot of faith.
when Squadron 42 is, I am thoroughly expecting a very big show when Squadron 42 is ready to go, and then I wouldn't be surprised if like we'll move to that BlizzCon-esque level of kind of like Star Citizen yearly events type of deal. I don't think that's out of the realms when the MMO starts to get developed. I'm sure they'll do a big launch, but the way I look at the MMO is like it's a gradual EVE style, builds up over time. But Squadron 42 is genuinely a big event. It's a game release, it's like it's a big event, whereas I think the MMO is going to be more of a kind of a oh my god, the game is finished type of thing. It won't be like
I'm sure that Sitcom will turn into a thing with multiple CIG games. You'll have Star Citizen, you'll have Squadron 42 Chapter 3, you'll have the Facebook mobile game, you'll have all sorts. That was me being sarcastic.
No, it will be all of those things. The mobile game, who knows?
And then I wouldn't mind paying $20 for a ticket to watch a live stream.
No, I don't know.
You're just really stingy with your money, Madness, so don't even comment.
I've got a Scottish father, so it's in my blood, right? And a Scottish mum, so I'm unfortunately born to be stingy. It's just the reality of it. I was bred to be stingy.
Haggis and beans.
Haggis and beans. No, don't throw that part of the sheep out. That's still good. We could use that.
I love haggis.
Hey, it's beautiful. Haggis is lovely, lovely stuff. So in terms of actually, because we're talking about Scotland, and because Moist, you get to go up there quite recently for who is it you're going up there for?
JR Fabrication, the amazing guys who made the Saber Raven.
The Raven.
Citizencon, that thing was beautiful.
Grey-headed cooling beer box container.
Grey-headed Gamer's amazing refrigerator, which is available for purchase now. That thing is awesome, by the way. I really want one. It even has a keypad on it, so to get to your beer, first of all you have to be not so drunk that you've forgotten the pin number to get into the fridge. But you go beep 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 beep, and then the fridge opens, you have your beer. Amazing.
See, I always forget my pin numbers for so many different things. I reckon I would be, I don't know. Is there like a secret kind of like secret code or something that lets you unlock it completely from scratch?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later. That's the. I need my beer. God damn it! I've forgotten the code. That would be.
And then we'll sell you another one. It's a great situation.
It's a good situation, but
man.
they're obviously the very first licensed. Well, not the first because the Nighthawk we spoke about on the Captain Sable. Nighthawk is technically the first one with his card game, and then these guys are like kind of the official really ones. Do you know? Or can you tell us any tidbits about the future in terms of will they be doing more product that is in the realms of potentially affordability for us to be able to buy? Do you know if that's something on the cards? Can you divulge that information?
No. And let's go back to the roadmap. So
let's go back. Yeah, let's go back to the roadmap.
Okay. Damn it!
So obviously,
I was kind of seeing how much.
No, this is where I need to be careful because Cal's is in chat. So obviously, we sell desks, which are freaking awesome. Yeah. The thing that we're really, I think, looking at doing, and I'm just waiting to be told off in chat, is
we want spaceships. Somebody tell us make a spaceship.
Streamlining the process for manufacturing things like desks and the computer cases and the refrigerators.
People want.
I know that everybody wants ship models. Obviously,
Yes.
I can't promise that
doesn't
we'll
want
ever do
spaceships?
ship models. But it's definitely a conversation that we've been having. It's a conversation that we've had, like off the record with people who've worked at CIG. So, what do people want? No ships, exactly. So if any of you guys are going to Citizencon, we will be there. I will be happy to have the conversation with people about
Have a
what
word
products
about.
people would like to see.
See if they can do more than just physical wood stuff. I think it would be a good, actual apparel goods, kind of textile fabrication would be pretty sweet as well. Just throwing it out there because you've got the license.
To bear in mind that we are a very small group of people at the moment, and many of us are trying to maintain full-time jobs as well as helping out JR and Callie. But yeah, it's
3D print ships. Yeah, right. Give us some space. No, it's we understand. Yeah, okay, cool. Helmets, customization. Like I've always said before, is like full gear, cosplay, helmets, like models, little figures models, beautiful figure models. Because you've got a couple ones which are a bit shit, but some proper figures.
The thing that's super difficult, because I've had this conversation on my stream a few times, and just to get real for a second,
get real on the podcast.
JR Fabrication, JRDF, is quite a small company. It is just a handful of people, and if there's anything that as backers we have learned through the StarCitizen project, is Chris Roberts doesn't do anything by half, and anything that is created or manufactured has to be of a fairly decent quality. So, for example, if JRDF were to create models, they would not just be cheap vacuum formed models. They would be high detail, probably resin.
But that's not Chris. I don't think that's Chris. I think that's JR. I think Chris is, if you actually look at the model, the little figurine that they made, that is garbage. So there's no way, in my opinion, that they go to a high standard. That was a
very, very early 3D printed model.
Very early.
If you, obviously we have prototype stuff that we have worked on just for the sake of like testing and learning. And if you look at Engineer's model, for example, Engineer's Hammerhead model is fantastic. But the only issue with Engineer's model was it took him 5 months to knock that thing out, which isn't really an option. You have to be able to turn over models like that in a much shorter period of time. So anything that if JRDF was to create models, it would be fairly high quality. It would likely, I think, be resin rather than a cheap plastic. And yeah, it would likely be hand painted as well. And the drawback to all of this really is the cost. So again, it's not a cheap vacuum formed model. If we were going to do it, it would be high quality, and there would be the cost involved in the time it takes to have a high quality resin 3D printed model created, and then hand painted.
Well, I mean, I know there's a
the-
market. I know there's a market
The
for it,
other
and
thing
you
to
know,
bear in mind as well, and this is the last point that I will make, is that you can't just take the 3D model out of the game and print it.
I'm well aware of that.
You have to redraw most of the
because
model,
they
which
work.
takes a lot of time.
Because when the difference is, it's to do with the STL files and to do with 3D, the way that the polygons and the way that, and to do with NURBS and surfaces and stuff, and how, a lot of the stuff sometimes in games is cheated. You can have pieces just going through things, which in the real world, the machine doesn't, it will think all those points and vertices are all, on the other side, and you're going to check, it's a whole lot of stuff that needs to be done for 3Ds for STL.
It's not even that. It's also, you don't need the interior. So you have to strip out all of the interior. And then on top of that, try opening up a javelin. Good luck, my friend. That's not one model. That's a whole load of different models.
Yeah, it's parts.
That get joined together in the game. It is super, super difficult.
Yeah, I remember someone talking about they wanted to use Maya or something to open up. This was back in like 2014. They wanted to use Maya to open up and look at some ships, and they took the file for the ship, they shoved it into Maya, and the ship just exploded everywhere. Yep. Just pieces of the ship were the engine was over there, the turret was over there, the cockpit was over there, the seat was over there.
We're really lucky in that the team of people that we work with are incredibly skilled. To, for example, in fact, I probably shouldn't delve too much into it.
NDA.
We have people who are very good when it comes to CAD drawing, and we're really lucky in that regard. But probably one of the biggest costs of designing models or manufacturing models would be before you even manufacture the thing. It's the amount of hours that goes into redrawing the ship.
Do you know what they need to do? Just go old school. Get a big old slab of clay, stick it on your desk. Get some modeller's clay. Just get modelling clay like they used to do for cars. Just do just do what they used to do back in the day, and just get a little bit of modelling clay and get like an expert ex-car designer or whoever's from back in the days, like 50s, loves StarCitizen. Get him down there to do it for free. I'm sure there'll be somebody out there in the world of StarCitizen who's an ex-car guy who used to model with clay, because that's what they used to do. Because I know my mate used to do it. They used to model all their cars out of this modelling clay, and it's beautiful. And then they would then take a resin mould, and then they make their moulds, make the moulds off of that. And that's the old school way to do it, man.
Sometimes I feel a little bit sorry for Callie, because obviously I think we're a lot like CIG in that, if you work for CIG and you are a StarCitizen backer and you're quite passionate about the project, you probably go to work and you go, oh, I've got this idea, I've got that idea, and then a producer has to rein it all in, or an art director. I feel that that's probably Callie, because me and JR, we will just sit there. I'll be there with my one glass of wine. JR will be there with his beer, and we'll just be throwing ideas into the ring. And Callie's just like, no.
Well, yeah. Anyone that's creative and kind of, you have that. There's all that. Yeah. I have it in my work. I literally have it with my developer. Basically, there's me, the designer, and there's my developer. The developer makes the shit happen. I dream it up, and we have. We dance the fine line of civil conversations, but sometimes it tips into very frustrated conversations where I want this and this is the reality, and then you have the fights and you try and find a way to get somewhere in the middle, which usually pisses me off because I want it to come always my side.
Again, this was a conversation that I was having with JR and Callie recently. Like, when I first became a graphic designer, one of the things that and this was years ago, one of the things that I made a huge effort to do was learn how things were printed, whether that be just a pull-up banner, a building size vinyl billboard thing banner, or a t-shirt, a screen printed t-shirt, a thing banner. And the reason I made that effort was because if you understand how these things are printed, how these things are created, then it makes it a lot easier for the person who does the printing or developing, whatever, because you understand how to put it together as a design if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, when that's pretty much the case with the stuff that we work on at JRDF.
I have to pause you because HC Vertigo's got a picture of a semi-naked lady lying on the bed or something like that.
Oh my God, who does? You know what? I was actually thinking getting some MoistNoodle life-size pillows done.
I know what you were saying was important, but I just saw the lady with the pants, and I was like, "Hang on, what's this?" Instantly, like, okay.
I can't even remember
How you doing?
How you doing, baby? Digital.
Oh,
What pixels? What pixels? Need more of that.
Yeah, as long as I don't put the as long as I don't put the chroma cup right about here, like we won't have TOS violations.
Right. Yeah, so like I said, I am a big anyone that knows about the Asylum Museum, I'm a very big advocate of people that are doing things in the community. I know Brimstone is we just got an invite to, he wants to kind of do I think a bar citizen for Citizencon this year in London, so he's kind of gathering people together. It's something he spoke to me about it before, so we'll be pushing that whenever that get more information of that happening. So if people are in London and want to join me and come and meet some of the Asylum people, I'm going to try and get Miz down as well if he can make it. We'll see what we can do. You can't come because you're going to be in Austin, you bastard. But maybe maybe you can cut your hair, give us a lock, and we'll take it with us and kind of hold it there and say, look, Moist is with us.
Moist is with us.
Moist is here in spirit, in a bag.
I'll probably see a picture of you on Twitter of just this little blue lock in your fringe.
I'll just place you here. I'll be like, yeah. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for that. So like I say, for I know you're working closely with is it JR? I'm sorry, when people use letters, and it's JRD. What's the official name? JRDF.
And so I think they're moving from JR Fabrication to JRDF.
JRDF. So I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops. Like I said, we should try and get them on. They can come on the show sometime and maybe talk to us.
JR would absolutely love to come on the podcast.
Yeah, come on.
And the amazing thing is, I really I'm like, it's breaking my heart. I'm kind of in two minds as to whether I should give up my day job, go and move in with JR and Callie, because they've said I can move in with them.
Wow.
Because there we go.
I would say do it.
Go and build internet spaceships for a living. So
like, seriously, like, is that a hard decision? If somebody said to me, like, if I was a single guy and I didn't have kids and I love spaceships and I wanted to, I love the idea. I love making shit. I mean, I make bags when I was able to in my free time. I do pattern cut and I make shoes as at uni. I love using my hands and crafting and stuff. And there's nothing better in my mind than actually building and making your own shit. And it's just incredible, like, making stuff. It's just so good, dude. So I would say go for it if you can. The thing that's really
nailed it for me is that JR is just like, if you move in, I'll make you the best damn stream room that has ever existed.
Dude.
I literally want Grim Hex, please. Thanks, JR. That would be amazing.
You want to get him to do like a room which is like on a spinning thing, so you can have different rooms. So it's not just Grim Hex on one bit, and then it spins, really cool. It spins, and then the other bit can be another room, and you can you can change it around.
Because we were talking about the Grim Hex sign, because I wanted to do Grim Hex in this room. This is only an 8x7 room, but like we were talking about the Grim Hex sign, and I was like, oh, we'll just use some LED tape. It'll be all right. Just CNC out the general shape of the sign, whatever. And he's like, oh no. If we were gonna do it, we'd actually get custom neon tubing done. I'm like,
you're going to do it properly. That's my kind of guy. That's like, if we're doing it, we're doing it properly. I like that. No comp. Yeah, high standards, good stuff. Like Chris. I think that's probably where they probably go on really well. It's the same kind of like to a high standard.
Yeah. And there we go. Look see, Christian CIG said it in chat there. I always dreamed of making elevators, and look at me now.
Yeah. Hey, it's what it is about sending. Like, I would just live the dream, buddy. Live the dream. Yeah, you were living it.
What is it like to work on elevators for a living? It has its ups and downs.
Oh,
yes, that's what I'm talking about. Give the guy a hand. Woo! HC wrecking it.
HC Vertigo just about to turn 60.
Wow. Remember, these aren't bad jokes. These are dad jokes.
These are, don't worry. I'm pocketing all of these because I'm just like, I got 2 kids. These are great. I need this one. That's a keeper. That one.
That's a keeper.
That's
I once dated a girl who raised bees for their honeys. She was a keeper.
That's not a keeper. That's a throw in the bin. That one. That's bye-bye. That's rubbish. That's a terrible one.
Why your rubbish bins are overflowing? My jokes away.
My bins. That's still a good point, actually. Don't get me started. I wasn't going to moan about bins and councils because I had a 10-minute talk to council. Okay, sorry. I have to because I need to get this off my chest.
Hang on. As you're about to have a whinge, don't forget that I work for my city's recycling company. Continue.
Okay. So I phoned up. We still haven't had the bins sorted out. Okay. So I rang up the council person and I got through to the woman that manages the estate. I have never had a more hostile conversation with somebody in my life. She was instantaneously agitated just talking to me. Clearly didn't want to talk to me. Clearly didn't want, she's like, we're aware of the situation, and I was like, okay. I gave her these things and she was like, well, has this happened? And then have these things happened? I was like, well, if I was saying basically you can't get cars and you can't get ambulances down to my estate. And I was saying, what if there's a fire? And like somebody's like burning to death and they can't get the fire engine down. And she was like, well, don't put these kind of like these suggestions, like these crazy suggestions into. And I was like, well, we literally last year we had a car burned down. So I was like, no, we have had a fire here and there have been incidents. And what if like someone's dying and you can't get an ambulance down? She's like, well, these things. And then my wife said the same thing to somebody else later on in the conversation. And their answer was, she said, has this happened within... have there been a reported incident of this happening? Has it happened recently? And I was like, we're trying to stop something bad happening. You want somebody to die and burn to death before, so that then you do something about it. I was like, the world we live in is mad. I know it's because there are cars parked.
Cars in the way.
Cars in the way. There's cars parked in the way, and the problem is the estate's not got it's not got any it's not managed. It's like free parking, so it's just free parking. So they're like, well, we can't do anything about it because we can't tow anyone, but we can put deterrents down. It just honestly, it's.
What do you mean you can't tow anybody?
They can't tow anyone because by law they can't tow anyone supposedly. It's honestly, I had the most frustrating and then afterwards I was like, this lady's a public servant. She's a public servant. That means she serves the public. That means that she's supposed to at least have sympathy for me, and we're supposed to have a sympathetic ear and be very calm and listen to me. Was she fuck? I've never heard a more rude person in my life. I couldn't believe, honestly, I'm getting agitated just talking about it. Really
people who work for councils People who work for councils generally are quite rude, but that's because they have to put up with complete arseholes like you. Arseholes every
I've got
day.
3 weeks without bins being picked up. I've got rats and mice. I've got flies coming out all over the place.
I used to work like years ago. I used to work as a landscape gardener, and I worked for the local council, and I drove a ride-on mower. And there was a day where one of our tractors couldn't get down, like in the valleys.
Yeah.
Terraced streets. People park on every side, and you can barely get a car down there. And we needed to get a tractor down this road to get this park, to cut this park, and we couldn't get the tractor down. Like, it was too wide because the cars were blocking the road. And we heard sirens, and then a fire engine pulls up behind us. And we started talking to the firefighters, and apparently there was a fire further down the road. And they couldn't get through, and I just said, well, what do you do? And he said, just let the house burn down. There's nothing else they can do. It's like they can go knock every friggin' door, but like,
yeah, that's the thing is there's something similar type of bad management happened in London. There was a building, an old council building, that burned down, killing a lot of people because of like in general ignorance of councils and kind of like this whole pass the buck blame. Anyway, like I said, didn't want to talk about it on the Asylum podcast. It's not StarCitizen, but
let's move on.
Driving me crazy.
As well.
Yeah, it was driving me crazy. We've all had those just awful. Like I said, public servant. So you're supposed to be sympathetic and listen to me. You could have done that, Miss. What was her name? Can I name her? Lane, fucking not worthy, not worth. I think her name was. Honestly, not worthy at all. Anyway, I have a question. This is my. Unless there's any questions, we've got one question in here. It says, "Do you think This is from Shark. I forget your. Sorry, hang on. Let me get your full name. This is from Andira Shark, and they say, "Do you think salvage gameplay would feel and work different with a Xi'an alien salvage ship?"
There it is. Salvage.
They love their salvage Xi'an ship. But it's a different question. It's a good question though. Do you think it would be different? Do you think aliens will salvage different?
Yeah, I think that the Xi'an will probably have a sort of vehicle that's a bit like think like the TARDIS but made of glass, almost like a great glass elevator that will just come along and scoop up the salvage. That's where the transit system will actually come in amazingly. That's what we need, the transit system.
I think that I think they'll just change the color to like a really light blue to the tractor beam, or they'll change the laser to a light, like a different color.
I'm hoping not.
That's what it will do.
I hope it is a little bit different.
It'll be so hard to do. Like, could you imagine? I mean, I think they'll be wanting to trigger. They'll want to, but I honestly think for the sake of like expediency, I think it might be better to just keep it as close to the other ones as possible to a degree on certain things, don't you? I mean,
this is Chris Roberts. It's gonna be weird.
I know.
It's gonna be
I
like,
know.
It's gonna have like its own drones that detach from the body of the ship, and it's gonna transform. It's gonna like I can just hear the Transformers sound effect in my mind. However that sound goes.
I honestly.
Sean, capital ships when?
I don't want it,
Citizencon is coming.
I can see it happening.
Keep your hope.
What's up, Mitachi? Yeah. How you doing, man? Most hostile conversation. Challenge accepted, he says. Okay, let's make it happen. It was terrible. Okay, so I have a question for you guys, and if anyone else wants to, exclamation! We're just gonna round up with a few questions. If anyone's got any questions, feel free. If not, we'll end on this question. With the introduction of Hearthstone in 3.3, we will hopefully get continents, rivers, lakes, mountains, islands. Do you think we will be able to name them? Will it be CIG, or do you think the community will be potentially able to name some stuff?
I don't think in 3.3 anything will be named.
I don't think so either.
But we could name stuff. That would be cool. I have to admit, until that question was asked, it's not something I'd ever considered.
I know, right? I mean, obviously there's lore, so some things obviously already have names. There's a percentage of stuff that will have names. But there may be, and I wouldn't be surprised if there'll be areas and things that will potentially get names by the community already. We already call it Lagski, for example. I mean, that's an example of an instance of a name change.
That's the problem with allowing the player base to name things.
Who says anything about allowing us to name stuff? I'm gonna name it whatever the fuck I want. You ain't gonna tell me no.
Yeah.
It's Lagski from now on.
It's Lagski,
you know what? Now it's gonna be a meme.
A tonk. You know, there's these names that we come up with, the things that are already existing because of humorous scenarios already now. You know, within the game, I'm just like, maybe there'll be instances and locations that haven't got actual names per se, but they become synonymous, and we'll call them other things, we'll call them other names. So I think that will happen. I just wonder if CIG will pick up on it and start, like Eve did something when they had the big fight, they put a plaque down and they recognized it. I wonder, I hope, and I'm pretty sure they will, I think they'll engage with that, and actually I wouldn't be surprised if we see some tongue-in-cheek and some fun and some legit kind of like naming going on, and it's a good way to engage people, especially to, you know, cause a bit of fun. So I think it'll happen. I think there will be a bit of naming.
I don't think, no disrespect to any CIG employees who are in chat right now, because the ones that are in chat are the ones that I care about. But I don't think CIG
all the others you don't
in touch. I don't think CIG are as in touch as a lot of people think they are with the community to do things like that.
Wow, scandalous.
And I don't want to say, I know that sounds
five community managers, and they're not in touch with us. Jesus,
five community managers, exactly. I don't think you keep using that word, community manager. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I don't think it means what you think it means, Madman.
To quote one of my favorite movies.
Wow. Okay.
Keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Clearly doesn't. Obviously, they need another 5.
Wait, hang on. Are there 5 community managers? So you got the 2 Tylers. Disco isn't actually a community manager, but he still does community stuff.
I just threw a random number out there. Wait to see if anyone triggers
on
it. It's like, and you see like the people who actually know the numbers are going, how many are there members? I don't know actually. How many are there? Someone tell me the official 500 staff.
3, isn't it?
1,000.
The 2 Tylers and Ulf.
I don't know. I mean, I know Disco's changed, so I guess he's not really.
Yeah, he's
not
video
community manager
content now.
anymore. So you've got the German dude. You've got the two Tylers.
There's 3 Tylers.
There's 3 that I know of.
His greatest achievement is madness is being German.
Sorry.
Ulf, I feel so like I felt so sorry for Ulf. He was literally in the job for like 3 days or something, and then they were like, "Welcome to CIG. Now present Citizencon to several thousand people on Twitch. Thank you."
Yep.
Poor guy.
He did all right. He did well.
He is a cool. Yeah, he did, and he is a cool guy. Like if you meet him in person, he is a really cool guy. Right. So
he's not Brian Chambers cool though, but he's a cool guy. Then Brian Chambers is
cool. But the thing is, like for I'm not going to say that because that gives
Chambers.
This
is cool.
NDA.
It wasn't even NDA. It was just more like I was going to make a German comment, and then I thought probably shouldn't because there are Germans watching.
Quite a lot of Germans. We don't say nothing about the Germans here. Actually, do you know what? Okay, just because it's a bit of a fun conversation. I was chatting to my wife the other day, and she came over to me and she saw my stream. Was watching stream, and I like watching all different types of streamers. I was watching a French streamer. I can't speak French. They were on the other day. I think it was they had like huge numbers, like 700-800 people watching them. I'd never heard of them before, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And I was watching it. Didn't understand a word, but I was using Google Translate. So I was taking the text that people were doing and chucking into Google Translate and then listening to the things that they were talking about. And you know, it's Google Translate. It's not perfect, but it gives you a general idea of what the conversation's about or what they're kind of saying. I mean, I have done it before where I've gone into German streams and I've actually done Google Translate and then pasted in my responses to some of the things in chat to try and see. And then I think 1 or 2 of the German streamers, they know who I am and they speak obviously beautiful English. So they go, oh, Matt, and then we have a really nice conversation. It's really interesting to find out that the reality is we're all talking about the same shit. Nothing's different. It's the same. There's a few variations here and there, but generally it's the same stuff. You have the defenders and the hate. You have the French haters and the French fanboys. It was really funny reading some of the. I was trying to remember what did one of the guys say, but it was beautifully the French swearing. The French language in return was hilarious. I did enjoy that. But yes, anyway, if no one's ever done it before, I thoroughly recommend checking out some of the foreign streamers stuff.
Captain Kim. That's all the second
Korean
language streams. Like I'm just there and I'm watching him and I'm lurking and I say hello and he's like, "Oh, MoistNoodle, my fellow StarCitizen stream." I don't know what accent that is. Sorry, my fellow StarCitizen.
You just got full racist Asian right now, but yeah, let's carry on. It's just full racist.
Then he forgets that I'm there. Starts talking in Korean again, and I'm just like, I'll just keep watching.
You went full Chinese restaurant waiter. That was full Chinese waiter.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Kim. Captain Kim. I'm sorry.
If you know English and German, there's a podcast every day of the week except Thursday. Oh, is there really, Carlos? No way. I mean, I know a few of the Spanish guys who started South America guys started a podcast recently, which I think is fantastic. I'm all for it. I'm all for more of it. I would love to have some foreign speaking. I love having foreign speaking people from different places come on to this show. It's great. I love having the mixture of people. Like I said, I'd love to get a female streamer or person to come and join the team here and to come on regularly. I want that. I want the diversity factor of people's different opinions and different thoughts, and it's just great. It just makes for far more interesting conversations. That's the way I look at it.
I really love the fact that the French and German communities have really exploded over the last year. It feels and I think it's amazing, not necessarily because they're French or German, just because I really love to see more people getting involved with StarCitizen as a whole. But what I think is really interesting is, and again, I don't want to seem too salty, how the UK community still seems really, really small in comparison to the French, German, and US.
Well, we're a smaller country. You have to recognise the number of millions of people that live here is still smaller than these much bigger. I mean, Germany's got a far bigger population. I think France, look at the size of France. You can fit a couple of Englands into France. So the numbers is the number game. You are playing against the number game to a degree, and they are developed countries.
I think Madness hits on a great idea there. In order to have more Star Citizen fans, you people on that island need to start fucking more.
Yeah, that's it. That's the reality.
Hey,
I've done my piece already.
I don't think babies are going to happen. Sorry.
I'm already adding. I've added 2. I've done my duty already.
2. He's done his duty to the party.
I've already done my duty. 2 is enough for me. Thank you very much. Jeez, honestly. Yeah, I've done my. The eldest has done his duty to the family. I can just tick that off like that. Walk in, done. I've added children to the family line. 2 boys. Thank you very much. Okay, let me just check if there's any more questions. Anyone's answered any questions? Nope. Okay, fantastic. So let's do a quick roundup, and then I will leave you guys with the amazing Try I video again. It's a long one, but if you haven't been pumped for Citizencon after watching this video, you damn well be. It's one of the best YouTube videos I've seen for a long time. Just gets me really excited. It's a long one, so we'll let it run for the time, and then we'll host somebody. I don't know who. I'll choose somebody. But enjoy the video. So before we go, MoistNoodle, where can we find you? What are you up to the rest of the week?
I don't know. Sorry, I've had half a bottle of rum in one glass.
Wow.
In one glass? I thought it was going to be a beer. Oh, Jesus Christ. He said he was going to have one glass.
Yeah,
it was rum,
Twitch.tv/moist_noodle. It was my intention to stream today, but I was so tired when I finished work, I just fell asleep. Sorry.
You joined
so
us.
I'll try and be streaming. I'll actually be doing some StarCitizen streaming this week, as well as some DCS. I'm also on Twitter at the MoistNoodle. I will also be at. I will also be at Citizencon. So if any of you guys are going to Citizencon, please approach me with a beer. That would be great. Thanks. I
need to give you these Asylum t-shirts to take with you to give to people. Actually, I was thinking about that. I have a couple t-shirts. I might add a couple more to it and just get you.
Now you say that, me getting things to Austin is becoming an issue. I think I'm going to be going to Austin with no clothes.
Oh, jeez.
I'll explain after the podcast. Let's continue. Okay. Vertigo, where can we find you?
He leaves us with that hanging. Jesus. It's like, that's a cliffhanger and a half.
Going just deflection. Deflect. Okay. Vertigo, be my shield.
Yes. Vertigo. Actually, speaking of you, what are you doing the rest of the week and where can we find you?
I am doing StarCitizen in the mornings now, my morning stream. So from 7 a.m. Pacific to noon, we're doing StarCitizen, and then from our 3 p.m. to our 8 a.m. stream, we're doing Dark Souls 2. We should be done with this week with Dark Souls 2, and we'll probably just be streaming StarCitizen pretty much full time for the rest of the month. We'll probably pick up a new project for next month, for October. Probably Fallout series. We'll start Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, Fallout 4. Yeah, Fallout New Vegas, all that good stuff.
Cool. I love my Fallout games. Fantastic games.
Mm-hmm.
Love them all. Brilliant. Good I will check that out. Check out HC. Check out MoistNoodle. You'll be able to catch me obviously here. Twitter. I'll be streaming when I can. As always, I'm busy, but things will change fairly soon. My wife's going back to work in a couple of weeks. I'll probably be after Asia at some point in the next couple of weeks as well myself. But I should, both kids will then be in nursery, so I should have maybe a little bit more time like I used to in the afternoons. If work is forgiving, I'll be able to do a few more day streams like I used to. But I'm enjoying some of the evening podcast kind of X type chatty streams, so I may keep 1 or 2 of those free as well. So we'll see how it goes. But you can catch me here and Littlebitofmadness everywhere. Obviously, check out the Asylum links are all on the Twitch page. If you haven't seen our YouTube channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can check up on all of our previous videos, and if you like Dungeons and Dragons, Miserable G gets back next week. We'll be starting up D&D don't know if it'll be next week, but the week after. So D&D will be back very soon. Miz is obviously, he's still on holiday in Africa, lucky git, so he'll eventually be back. So looking forward to getting him back on the show. And yeah, so I'm just going to say goodbye. We'll put on a video. Yeah, I'm going to mute you guys. I'll talk to you guys in Discord if you hang around for a few minutes.
All right.
I'll talk to you in a bit. If you can go. Bye, guys.